Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Out a little bit late. Uh, I got to work a little late, and it was Monday. I just slept in just a little bit, and then got to the pool, did my workout, and then came home and had dinner, and just need downtime sometimes. So I am up for now until I go out, but let's look at it. So we'll start with our gold fake paper price is 26.36, down $4 at about 8 in the morning. It was 26.47, and then here comes the roughly the 8:05 to 9:30 derivative down. The paper bullshit down to 26.17, and then it fought back up to 26.40, and that's about where it's at, 26.36. Totally meaningless, just paper. We just like to keep an eye on it. Just we know it's not a real price. Silver 29.97. Again, both these are paper prices that are absolutely jokes, that are derivatives, where JP Morgan is trying to set the price instead of the market. So when you have gold and silver, you realize the price is not what the supply and demand would be for a Montana card. It's not where the price is. So you realize that. And that's why you would keep buying it. Plus, it can't be printed, so you can't lose value. This isn't losing value, but it's the Ponzi scheme of JP Morgan. But since JP Morgan runs the government, he's not going to, put himself in jail, right? And nobody will testify against him. I doubt Trump will, because he's probably making too much money on his little Bitcoin adventure. And that's the problem. You don't have the government's so corrupt, we don't have a site of justice where this shit should never happen. This should be something else, and there should be a physical market like we have in a Mano card or Montana card. That should be what gold is, and it would be 20, 30,000 by now. I mean, keep in mind, for Coke to go from 50 cents to 2.95 for a 2 liter, what's the percentage on that? Well, it doubled, and then it tripled, and so it's up 400%. So take 400%, but you don't even know what to start with at gold. Maybe 400% of 1,000, it would be 40,000. So these morons that say, well, it's not gold going up, it's price going down, they're full of shit. Then why are the other goods going up? Because gold is being held down. That's why. Hey, Luke. Well, yeah, you can take it. Considering you have no other option, what are you going to do? Stay in dollars? Everything's about to collapse, Luke. You're getting so close to the finish line. You can't look at this price as a real price. So the story, this is a fake price. So I get upset about it. Just we're waiting until the brics and everybody goes and kicks the price up. That's all. It's not going to be much longer. It's been 50 years. You're lucky this isn't 1975, and then you'd be really shitting in your pants going, oh my God, I got to wait 50 years for it. We're at the end right now. There's the light at the end of the tunnels right there. And what's your alternative? Holding this crap? You want to keep holding this crap? Be it a Swiss franc, a British pound, a maple leaf, or a dollar, it's all worthless. And that's the key that you got to take away from it. You're out of that. That's the goal. That's the game. You happen to switch into gold and silver because that was the only lifeboat. That's the only place to put your money. So you're fine. You're out. You're not losing money every day on useless, worthless monopoly money. So that's how you got to look at it. Hey, Pat, how are you today? Luke, living on a prayer. Indonesia will be the next BRICS member joining. There was 9 new ones. South Korea is supposed to also. This is funny. You have no other option. Um, I don't know about how funny it is, but you don't have, where else can you put your money? So if I gave you $500,000 right now, what would you do with it? And at the end of the day, you're not going to go into money. You're not putting it in a bank, and you're not buying stock with it. So what do you do with 500 grand? The only thing you buy gold and silver, because it's the only thing that can't be inflated and printed and counterfeited, and that's it. So the fact that the price isn't going up isn't the concern. The price of the money going down is. So you're fine in gold. It's just you got to wait a little bit longer. And there's really no time. Oh, okay, March 1st, $30,000 an ounce gold. That's the point. They're struggling to, they're fighting it. You're fighting the government who wants the dollar to be worth something, because you got a bunch of idiot Keynesians who, oh, we can keep printing money. You pay for the debt, you pay for Social Security, you pay for the military, you give money to the Ukraine. You can't just keep printing money, and that's really the whole point of it. I'd buy a hot tub. Well, there you go. So buy a hot tub. Anything but dollars. You gonna sell hot tubs? We're making our move. It's jumping 23.38 or 26.38. Now, you guys probably know, help me out. If I want to buy a quarter ounce on eBay, let's say it's $720. Do they charge me sales tax? I know there's no shipping because I'm in an auction with no shipping. My problem is when I go to my store, he doesn't have tenth of an ounce, quarter ounce, half ounce anymore. Well, I can only buy so many ounces, but when I get my next paycheck, I don't have another 2,700 to buy another ounce, but I do have 700 to buy a quarter ounce. So I'm thinking of going on to eBay to buy a quarter ounce, but I can't get a straight answer from these bozos about, do you charge sales tax? I go, well, we don't, but eBay does. When I keep looking at eBay and I don't get an answer. It used to be if it was more than $500 in gold, no, but I can't even find that anymore. So I don't know where to look. Anybody who buys on eBay, do you pay sales tax on it? I'm not going to pay sales tax. In fact, I'll just wait and buy silver and then wait to buy buy 2 ounces instead of 1. I'll just wait a little bit. But I wouldn't mind another quarter. Just go to SD Bullion, no sales tax. Are they similar to eBay? Is that a better spot? Because it does give you a good, there's good prices on eBay, but to actually get a hold of somebody to ask them the questions, I'll go right into the question to the search. Do I pay tax on gold? And I can't get an answer. I emailed one guy and he says, well, we don't, but but eBay charges sales tax. Not in Michigan, they shouldn't, and it's gold. They shouldn't. It's illegal actually to charge sales tax for gold. So I don't know. I really don't know the answer. I don't mind buying it at a good price on eBay, provided I don't pay tax on it. But if it's 700 and I pay 6%, it's an extra $42. I mean, that's ridiculous. I could buy another couple ounces of silver for that. So I don't want to pay tax on something that I shouldn't pay tax on. Well, I'll take a look at SD Bullion. Is that why you buy yours, Luke, at SD Bullion? All right. Ooh, silver jumped over 30. Here we go. It's making its move. It might be 31 soon. And then it won't stay, but it might be. So I showed you this one. Europe will die soon, and there's the list of 10 European countries going broke. And it's basically, Germany starts it off, France, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Poland, Ukraine. And if they're all broke, they can't buy the oil from Russia or the US to heat their houses. They can't buy anything because their money will be worthless. So they'll have to get rid of the euro and come out with, dare I say, gold-backed currency if they have any gold, which they don't. Although I think Germany does, and so does Switzerland. They do have gold, so we'll see what happens with that. But again, more points of going into the gold. We know Russia and China. So Daria's complaining about, oh my God, prices are going up. Now today she says, well, not that much. They're going up a little. Oh, hey, well, you made it sound like you're going to have hyperinflation. So we will see. But once these countries start collapsing, their dollars will be no more, and then I hear UK just overtook Germany for electric vehicles. Well, who gives a fuck? Germany probably doesn't want to sell them, and so the UK all of a sudden wants to sell electric. Nobody wants electric vehicles. It's a stupid thing. Anyway, I see a lot. The thing that gets me is I'll watch Bloomberg on my break. Right, so I go in and get a coffee, get a water, take my lunch in a break room, and there's Bloomberg on the TV. So it's a flat screen. There's one on each side. And there's always a story of why this went up or why this went down. And like they know, Bitcoin went up because Trump's got inaugurated, or, he's in now. So Bitcoin, okay, first of all, it's Larry Fink doing a derivative with it. It's not people buying Bitcoin. Nobody has $100,000 to buy a Bitcoin, right? So that's bullshit. But I love how there's always this explanation. There's always a reason why everything goes up or down. Interest rates are up. Oh, wait, this country, inflation's didn't go down as far as they thought because XYZ, and it's all bullshit. They don't know. Nobody knows the fuck why something's going up or down. Oh, it's because Trump's this and Trump's Bitcoin and Trump's that and Elon Musk did that. Nobody cares. Nobody knows. Nobody's listening, and nobody's buying, or the thing isn't going up or down based on that. So be careful when they try to give you these stories of why things go up or down. Why is gold going down? Because it's price fixed by JP Morgan. It's that, but they can't say that. So they'll say, well, because everybody's going into Bitcoin. That's why gold's going down. Gold is not going down. It won't go down. All the central banks are buying as much as they can. I'm seeing higher prices on eBay. My guy doesn't have as much gold because he's selling it to his wholesaler at a higher price. The demand is huge. I looked at one other guy online near me, and he was totally sold out of all gold and silver. I don't think he's a big coin store, though, but not like the one I go to. The guy owns 3 stores. I go, you don't have a quarter ounce? You can't get me a couple of quarter ounces, really? So there's another store, but I think it's more expensive, but we will see. Or I can certainly try SD bullion, but it's got to be see, the problem is there's going to be shipping on it, which is going to destroy the point. And then I got to stress waiting for the shipping to come. Why is gold and silver stagnant and Bitcoin through the roof? Well, because JP Morgan doesn't want gold and silver to go up, and they want Bitcoin to go up because they're going to Ponzi scheme everybody. Why did Madoff's always pay his guys? Right? For 20 years, the Madoff Ponzi scheme worked, right? Well, why did it keep working? Because you got suckers that are going into it. So why is Bitcoin? Because they can't. One of them is, Larry Fink's doing his little derivatives anyway, but it's kind of independent, right? You can't really stop it, but you can do derivatives to keep the price down on paper, gold, and silver. And so that's paper. and they don't want that to go up, but they don't mind if Bitcoin goes up. And I hear, well, they want to 1099 everybody. They want to tax you on your capital gains with Bitcoin. But see, Bitcoin's as Ponzi schemed and scammed as gold is being held down. They're letting Bitcoin run for the taxes. So there's a problem here. You have a $36 trillion debt. So Heckle and Jekyll in the Federal Reserve don't know what the fuck they're doing, keep printing money to pay for the interest and everything. And so they're thinking, well, maybe we can let Bitcoin run. We don't want gold to run, but we can let Bitcoin run. And then everybody who thinks you're safe in Bitcoin, apparently you're not safe. Apparently they know your code and who you are, which I don't understand how that can be when that was the whole key to Bitcoin. Was it was anonymous, right? It's ABCQQWE 77 is your ID, and nobody knows it. And apparently, how does the government know everybody's keys? Oh, that's Luke's. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is Luke's. How do they know that? I thought it was all secret. So they're letting it run because they want to tax you. Apparently they know you. Oh, Luke, you sold? Wait, we want our 30% capital gains or whatever. And so because they can't do a regular tax, they're doing taxes with inflation, which is reason number 75 that we're out of the dollar. Because if we stay in the dollar, we're getting taxed, or the value of the dollar is losing value. I don't like calling it a tax because it's not a tax. It's called inflation, and you're devaluing the dollar. I don't know why that's a tax. It's not. But in my mind, that's what's happening. But they can't. So instead of saying, okay, we're going to give everybody a 10% tax increase, they're like, oh, we won't tax you. We'll give you a tax cut, as they erode the dollar to nothing. And the problem is everybody's trapped in it, except us. That's what you got to understand, guys. It's we're surviving the dollar's value going down. That's the critical part right now. Not that why isn't gold going up? Because they're keeping the price down. It's because of derivatives. It's JP Morgan. We've went through it 1,000 times. That's why it isn't. Yes, we know Russia and China and BRICS are buying gold hand over fist, but that doesn't move the needle. What moves the needle are the derivatives. The U.S. is short. They have to cover, but they're not covering their gold, and their silver is 4 years delayed. There's a 4-year problem with silver, and yet apparently the U.S. doesn't have to cover it because they're in charge of it or something. So it's really London and the U.S. who are collaborating to fix the price. And it almost is, if you really think it through, it's really China doing it. Because do the U.S. really care? Like, we're all going to run into the dollar. If gold goes up, we're all going to dump our dollars? No, it's the Chinese who want to buy more, want the price low because they want to keep buying. Just like me and you, we want to keep buying. There's a point where we want it to go up, but as long as they're going to keep it low for us, we'll keep buying more and more. And that's really how if you really want to view it like that, like a proper stoic, you would say China's the one keeping the price down, and Russia, because they're still buying. And the buyer would want the price low. And so as long as they want the price low, the price isn't moving. Eventually they'll run out, and eventually then they'll say, okay, there's no more to buy. Let it go. And that's I assume what's happening. There's not a lot left to buy, but apparently they're still doing it. Now, the second thing, maybe they're buying derivatives. They're shorting it. It hits down. They buy it. It goes up, and all this bullshit with the derivatives, I guess. But you'd think it's all going to Bitcoin, where they can easily do derivatives and fuck everybody over on that because nobody knows why it goes up or down. and nobody, everybody wants to buy a pet rock, apparently. So that's what you have to understand. Also understand there's many markets. I was showing you the Jerry Rice card. There's 10 different Jerry Rice cards valued between 150,000 and 80,000. So there's not just one market. And in gold, you see it on, you go on eBay or SD Bullion and others, and the quarter ounce I want is 700, 7.25, 800. I don't know why 800, but it's all over the place. So there's not one price for gold on eBay, on SD Bullion. On one site it is, but if you looked at 4 or 5 different sites, you're going to see 4 or 5 different markets for it. So please understand the market is when somebody sells it to somebody who buys it. So if there's a buyer and a seller together, that's the market. And gold doesn't have that right now. It does at SD Bullion, it does on eBay. But look what you're paying for it. You're paying the bullshit JP Morgan spot. You're not paying the real value of it. So it really, you should be buying as much as you can now and selling nothing, because it's way too cheap to sell. But since it is cheap, you want to buy more. So understand that there's many markets to it. So let's see. We have again, Trump gets inaugurated, big deal. He takes office in 2 weeks. I got to see what I'm doing with my Social Security check. I got it today. I was happy, but I don't want to keep getting it because then I'm going to owe because I am working. So we have to see what, if he allows me to keep working and collect my Social Security, that'll be great. If he doesn't or doesn't change the rule, then I got to stop it because I'll have to pay a penalty on it for collecting while I'm working. Have you ever heard a dumber thing than that? I put into the Social Security. It's my money. What do you, I can't work and collect my money? I mean, this is how idiotic these people in government are. Look, the people that have Bitcoin are getting rich. Really? How are they getting rich? We are living on a prayer. I assume you mean gold is living on a prayer. The people are not getting rich because, as I told you about your friend with the $4 million 401k, you're still in monopoly money. You're not in real money. You're in money that's valueless. And this is the point. I have to nail the point into you, Luke. They're not getting rich. The paper dollar that they've got is worth nothing. So if you can have a million, if you have a million of these, it's still worthless. This is not worth anything. So you could have a million or a billion of them. You're not rich because you're still in dollars. To become rich, you have to be in gold and silver because those are going up, not down. So you want to be in the asset going up. And you look at it priced in dollars, which is the wrong way to look at it. And you've got to look at it as it's worthless. It's printed too much. That's how you must look at Bitcoin or stocks. You're getting rich in Amazon or with the idiot Tesla. I keep trying to find Tesla if he has any earnings at all, because he's not making money on the cars, and nobody's taking rocket rides to Mars. So I don't know what he's doing with the rockets. The government's paying him, I guess, and wait till they run out of money, and then he tries to collect. So keep in mind, every day the dollar's losing value. It doesn't have much left. It's gone down 99%. In my mind, it's just a matter of time till it's 100%. Very, very soon. And you don't know when it's going to be, and you don't know when the gold goes through the roof. So why do we care about the spot prices? We don't care about the spot prices. We just look at them just to really have a laugh and see that JP Morgan's having fun doing derivatives. But we don't care about the spot price because it's a made up price. It's not a real price of gold. It's not a physical price of gold. It's just a barometer that we can say, oh, okay, the paper price is 2,650. The physical price is about 26,500. Then just multiply it by 10. We don't care, and we shouldn't look at it and use it as the barometer of, well, gold's not going anywhere. This is what I keep hearing from you. Why is gold and silver stagnant? You don't know yet that it's derivative paper held by JP Morgan keeping the price low. The paper price, are we not there yet, Luke? I mean, I've told you that since at the airport. That's what happens. It doesn't mean that's the real price. And when it goes, you're going to see the real price of gold really high. As Egon would say, exponentially high, which means, I don't know. I see some of these guys and they're going, you're going to wake up, it's be 10,000 an ounce. But we know the real value is probably 20 at this point with all the inflation and paying for the debt and paying for the war and Social Security and Medicare and all the government employees, and all of Europe is going broke. I mean, there's 10 countries, starting with Germany, that are going broke. The rising cost of the energy from Russia. You've got the jobs are going down. China's stealing them, and they're too expensive, right? If you work in Germany or Italy or France, you're getting $100,000 a year and all this vacation time, and the Chinese probably make $100 a year, and probably they don't give them a day off. So it's a non-competitive thing. Europe, it's just like here. It's too expensive, so everybody's going to the Hong Kong and China and Shanghai and India now for labor because it's cheaper, so they can make their money. The one difference now is the more the companies, and I guess Amazon's like this, Microsoft, they're now international. In other words, they're not just a U.S. company. So when GM did it, they just sold cars mostly in the U.S. But now everything's international. Facebook, it's every country, and so you're getting this bigger playing field. The IT people make money because it's cheaper. You need programmers, which are not cheap, but once you start coming out with these programs, that's what happens. But then you're selling it to 1 million people, so your sales are huge because of who you're selling it for. That's what's hurting California. If you really want to understand that, Silicon Valley's in California, and they're all rich. And so the government, the liberals there, are raising the taxes and raising everything to tax them. But what they're missing is they're killing all the middle class people, and then people like Musk moves to Texas because it's cheaper in Texas than it is in California, which is another part they miss. So they're just focusing on Silicon Valley, going, well, let's tax them at 60%. And they got billions of dollars, so we'll tax them in the high corporate tax. And they're missing they're killing everybody else, right? That's what they're missing. And so smart people leave because, as you would in anything, it's cheaper. Going to one restaurant to another. I can get Chinese food at 2 restaurants. This is cheaper. Or I can get my ribs. This is cheaper. I'll go to that one as long as they both taste okay. And that's what's happening in California is they don't understand, and they're forcing everybody out. And then it becomes they all move to a different state in California. When will Silicon Valley move out, or will it, or will they all move to Texas? But that's what it's about. It's about taxing the filthy rich, but they're not leaving the other people. They're taxing the hell out of everybody, so they can't afford it. But that's what you have. So keep in mind, the biggest problem is the dollar's worthless. And how do you know? And again, The only way is, I mean, you can look at the grocery store. Coke used to be a dime, is now $3. Okay, that's a big percentage increase, right? That shows you how much the dollar's collapsed, because the Coke's the Coke. If anything, it should be cheaper because they make a lot more. So per unit, it's very cheap to make. And that's one way. It's hard to look at the housing. It's 25,000 for a house, now 500,000, but you got interest rates in there. You got cars that used to cost 2,500. Leave It to Beaver won a car. It was 2,500 for a sports car. This would be in the early 60s. And now forget the Ferrari. Let's say it's $100,000 for a sports car. That's not the car going up. That's the dollar going down. That's where Egon can say the dollar is going down. It takes more dollars to buy it. That's how you can see the dollar's getting corrupted and losing value. I know when Luke were in Barcelona and you tried to cash your money in, so you go to an ATM, they're charging you like $20, $30 on top of whatever the FX rate is. Then it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. I turned over $200 for euros at $1.08. Should have cost me $2.16, and it cost me like $2.60. All that was the dollar's worthless, and we're gonna get the money, or the euro is worthless, and we need to add more to it, and that's what it is. So you can't. It's not like the boat where it's sinking and you can clearly see, oh shit, we're deep in the water. You can't see it with the dollar, but it's there. And all you can see is the M2 money supply is much higher, and just everything costs more, which is really, that's where the dollar has really lost its value, is that the prices are up. Because nothing, so you're telling me every price is up? I mean, when would that happen? Like tennis shoes, tennis rackets, golf clubs, bowling balls, shirts, pants, food, everyone's up. That's the dollar crashing right there. That's how you can view the dollar crashing, is because the prices are up for everything, right? And not everybody would raise prices because there can't be demand for everything. So, I mean, that's a major economic lesson there, is just understanding why isn't the gold price up or the silver price up? But the key point is you're out of the dollar. That's the key point. Once you're out of the dollar, you're fine. So with all these other countries collapsing, who's going to buy our stuff if we even make anything for them to buy? We're run by the banks. They're as corrupt as hell. So that's why it's taking a little longer. They don't want us in gold because they want to keep saying, oh, look, gold doesn't move. Don't get it. And people are so stupid. They need that instant gratification of, well, I bought it yesterday. Why isn't gold up $5,000 today? I mean, that's how it is. That's why everybody's in Bitcoin. Oh, look, it went up. Yeah, but it's in money. It's not worth anything. Even the stocks are in USD. They're about to collapse because, follow my lead here. You have 10 countries in Europe going bankrupt, right? So let's look at Germany, right? The number one country going bankrupt. People have their money in the U.S. stock market. There's $32 trillion in the U.S. stock market from the foreigners, not from the U.S. 32 trillion. Now they're going bankrupt. So you're a German, I'm a German, and we're working at the at Mercedes, and we're going to lose our jobs. Food's going up, gas is going up, the heating oil is going up. What do? We got to sell our assets to survive. And then, therefore, what are we selling? We're going to sell our stocks because they're in the U.S., so I need the money to feed my family and, survive. I'm going to start selling my stocks because I got to sell my assets because they're worth something. And so they start, and that's where the avalanche happens. That's the beginning. And so we're at step one. all these countries going bad. There's 10 of them: Italy, France, Poland, Ukraine. They're all going broke. So the people who have a lot of money in the US stock market will sell it. Just as what we would do if we needed to, we would sell our gold. I mean, you sell your asset. I go in every week to my guy's store, and he's got gold. And where do you get it? People come in and sell it to me because they need the money. They need to eat or pay rent or whatever the reason. So the older people are selling him the gold so they can survive. Because right now we're still living in a paper economy where if you want to go out to eat or you want to buy groceries, you're using this still. Even though it's not worth anything, that's what we're using because that's what the government says so. Now we're smart enough to get out of it. We keep enough money to go to the grocery store, but then we buy gold right and left as much as we can eat and silver. Because once the dollar goes out, you're going to need an asset to feed yourself with. We don't want to be in the stock market because that's going to collapse because all the Europeans and the Chinese and the Japanese and the Russians are all going to be selling their stocks to get money. Plus, once they start seeing the dollar going out, and a lot of them are smelling the $36 trillion debt going, I think we're fucked. We need to get out. The problem is they don't know where to go. So I've got Luke's buddy. I got 4 million in the stock market. Where do I go? And he's got to go into gold, but he doesn't know. And he goes to his financial advisor. He says, no, stay in stocks. Oh, no, gold doesn't do anything. Oh, the dollar going out, that'll never happen. So you're dealing with the salesman, a kid who has no idea anything about economics. And this is the problem. And this is why everybody's getting fucked because they don't know. They go to somebody who they think knows, and they're going to a salesman. You might as well go to the shoe salesman at J.C. Penney. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about getting out of my stocks. Oh, no. Stay in the stock market. Buy shoes at J.C. Penney. This is the problem of who you're dealing with, but nobody understands that. Nobody can figure out that that's the problem is when they do go for help, they go to the wrong person, and therefore they're getting fucked twice because they're going to stay in stocks. But the foreigners aren't going to do that. They are smart, especially the Germans. If anybody knows about gold, it's the Germans, and they are in gold, and they will be in gold. When the euro hits, they'll probably be the safest. I'm sure they have money in the stock market, but I'm talking to cab drivers and waiters, and I was in Berlin, and they know all about gold. Oh yeah, they know about it. So the Europeans might know a little bit more about it. The Austrians, probably the Swiss, they probably are eating up on gold. But that's what will happen. That'll be the trigger is these people trying to get their money out to take care of their families. They have it in the U.S. It's in the U.S. dollar, either stocks or houses or banks, and they're going to get it out. And that's what will happen is they'll move their money out, and that's when the collapse happens. It's not me and you selling stock. I don't have any, but it's not you selling 100 shares of Apple. It's the sheik of Saudi Arabia selling $10 billion worth of IBM or whatever, or Coca-Cola. And he pulls his money and he starts loading up on gold. That's when gold goes to the moon, and that's when the stock market crashes. So A always goes to B to C. You hit the iceberg, the water comes in, the boat sinks. Your country starts collapsing, you need money, you sell your stocks because you need money, the stock market crashes, the banks crash, the housing market crashes. Because there's trillions of dollars from foreigners in the U.S. because they somehow think that the U.S. dollar is the reserve currency is the safest. And it's like, you people are fucking idiots. It's not safe at all because the morons keep printing it. Because the morons don't believe that they believe you can keep printing it. There's no problem. I can print as much as I want. There's no problem, except for you've killed the value of it. You've killed the goose laying the golden egg. So that's really the beginning, and it looks like we're at the beginning with 10 countries going bankrupt, not including, by the way, Japan and China aren't in Europe. Probably Hong Kong or Singapore, these other countries. Brazil's bankrupt. Venezuela's been bankrupt. Argentina is having difficulties. The guy's trying to save the country, Millie, but he's still in U.S. dollars. He's fucked. He should have went gold. Once you go gold, you never go back. So that's the problem. So why do you think Russia and China aren't buying Bitcoin? Why do you think they're buying gold? Take a thought about that one, Luke. And that's really it. So do we care about spot price? No, not at all. That's because we know it's not the real price. We know it's a paper derivative price made by derivatives that I want the price to go down. I want the price. I'm making money playing derivatives. It has nothing to do with the gold price. It's just some price to keep score of the derivatives. That's all it is. So we just look at the spot price, but we're not, oh, gold didn't go up today. Oh, believe me, gold went up today. Gold goes up every day. In the physical world, it goes up. In the paper world, they manipulate it. So don't think it's not going up. Don't think silver's not going up. Believe me, it's going up, but there's no vehicle to see the true vehicle, the true physical price of it yet. However, that's coming, and that's what we're waiting for. But as long as they're going to keep the price low, keep buying. Keep buying, keep buying, keep buying. It's like we're 1952, and I'm doing my show on fake YouTube, and I'm going, buy the Mantle cards. And Luke's there going, oh, the Mantle card's not going up. Who's Mickey Mantle? We got his rookie card here. And I'd be like, keep buying, just keep buying. It's Mickey Mantle. And that it's when will it go up? Well, I have a Joe Montana that if it's a 10, it's $110,000. I bought it for $100 in the early 90s, maybe mid 90s, $100. I never once thought it's going to go to 110,000 if it's a 10, right? Let's say it's a 10. It's close to a 10, a little bit off center, but on that card, you can get a 10 on that. But let's say it is. I never in my wildest dreams thought it would be worth more than $100. I just wanted it because I like Joe Montana, and it was his rookie card. And you knew when you're collecting cards to get the rookie cards. Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Jerry Rice, Montana. So that's what you did. And because it was their first card, I guess. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, that was the point. You didn't know. So when you buy gold, you're really buying it for protection. But because everything is going in all the countries, all the paper currency, this is going out too. The euros, this is worthless. The British pound, the Swiss franc, they're all worthless. Well, the only lifeboat in the world you can get into is gold and silver. It ain't Bitcoin because Bitcoin is not something that even exists. It's not even real. How are you going to walk into Bitcoin with yeah, I got a Bitcoin here. I want dinner. I mean, you can't get it, you won't be able to use it for dinner or groceries or anything. Certainly, I know I can go to my barbecue place with an ounce of silver and get ribs. He's already told me. He kids around with me. He says I should have a sign and accepting gold and silver. I says, you're kidding. You should. I mean, I'd gladly sell a slab of ribs for an ounce of silver because the silver will be much higher than the $30, $31 you can get now. But everything is supply and demand. That's why gold has the value. The demand for gold is huge. The supply for gold is limited. And people, why are JP Morgan doing derivatives to keep the price down? Because they know if they let it go, it would be $100,000, and it will be. They will let it. They won't have a choice letting it go. The Russia and China's will let it go, and that's what we're waiting because we don't have any gold, and they do, and they want it to go up. You don't fuck with Putin. So that's in our corner. Once we've dried out the gold and we bought as much as we can, and if it goes up now, we're happy, and if it goes up in 2 months, we can buy more. We're still happy. Oh, I got more ounces that have gone up, and that will be the price. So the question asked to me is, well, what are you going to buy with the gold when you sell it? What fiat currency are you going to get in? And I says, you don't understand. Gold will be the currency. You won't be selling it for monopoly money. You're going to be holding it, and it's going to turn into the money. And this is a concept that this guy was way over his head, and he was trying to get me too. And I'm like, you can't fuck with me. I'm the smartest man in the room when we're talking economics and gold in every room I'm in. So you can't fuck with me there trying to get me on, well, you'll have to sell it for fiat. I don't have to sell it. And if I do, it's only fiat if I'm going on a plane or I'm going somewhere. So I got them there. And once, see, the demand's already there for gold, but once people start getting killed on the dollar and getting the hyperinflation and everything's worthless, that's when the mob scene on the Titanic, when everybody's trying to get in the lifeboat, is when everybody tries to get into gold. And as Egon says, there's only 200,000 tons of it, which is most of the 199,000 tons has gone to the central banks, Russia, China, and all the jewelry in India. So the only way they can get it is the price has to go up. So we are so covered, Luke. I really don't know. Don't stress or worry about it. You should be very comfortable and very happy that you have it. And you should be buying as much as you can at these cheap prices. This is a cheap price, 26.40, and you can buy for 27.40 is probably the cheapest price you're going to get in the next 20 years, right? You will never be able to find gold at these cheap prices again. Realize it. It will be, everybody will be forced into that. Will be the only out, because these morons keep printing more and more of this because they're Keynesians, and that's how they believe, oh, we'll just keep printing money. They don't get, it's like going for fourth down every time. Well, yeah, but if you miss, the other team wins the game because they get the ball at your 20-yard line because you fucked up and went for it. So it's the same thing. You've got to look at both sides. Well, I'll print the money. Yeah, but you keep printing, it's worthless. If you keep going for fourth down and you keep missing, the other team gets the ball at your 30-yard line, you're going to lose the game. So there's two sides to the coin. You keep printing it, there is no value in it. So you must understand that. You feel exhausted. Yeah, Bobby Bo, welcome to our gold class, gold and silver. Because he's waiting for the fake gold price to go up. He doesn't understand that the real physical price is 10 times more than the fake paper price, and he keeps wanting it to go up already. And I keep telling him, this is a buying opportunity the longer it stays down. Wake up, Luke. Metals are about to fly. You tell him, Bobby Bo. So you're still arguing with your family, Bobby Bo, or are you getting stoic? I played a stoic thing yesterday. I think you saw. I think I saw another stoic thing today. But really, stoic's just about being confident and calm. And you ask your girl out, and she says no. You stay stoic. You go, oh, it's her loss. And that's how you got to go through life. You know, I want to go out with her. I ask her out. She says no. I go, okay, your loss. And that's where it goes. And it's just, that's stoic, right? You don't get all excited. There was a vampire in my pool today, some lady, and she's just yapping, and I'm doing my laps. I run, and then I do a little swimming, and she's yapping and yapping and and I'm just calm as could be. I didn't say shut the fuck up. I just kept, as I'm swimming away, she's still talking to me, and I'm going, hey, whatever, lady, I've had enough. And I had 30 minutes with the vampire. Stoic is a bit migraine trait to have. A what? A bit migraine trait? I don't understand. Oh, a big time, don't know how to type migraine. Yeah, it does that to me. I'll be typing to Daria and it'll say something else and you just laugh out loud and you go, "No, this is not what I meant." Um, so you heard Tyreek Hill is requesting a trade now. What the fuck is wrong with these players? Because he won a Super Bowl at KC, and then like an idiot wanted the money, so he goes to Miami because Tagovailoa sucks, and he takes the money, but doesn't realize he's on a team with no defense and no quarterback, with a terrible coach. And he says, "Well, wait, I want to win a Super Bowl. I got the money. Now I want to win the Super Bowl." So he probably wants to go back to Kansas City or to Denver, play with that guy, or go to Atlanta or go to Washington. You watch him go to one of those. I could see him go to Atlanta or Washington. Washington could afford him. And they'd be tough to beat with Daniels and Tyreek Hill, I'll tell you that. But that's what he wants now is he wants the playoffs and he wants the ring because he realizes he's near the end of the career. So that's pretty common. You've got the money and you're not happy with the money if you're not going to win. And that's what he's doing. So I understand what he's saying. He should have never left my boy Mahomes. Was he wanted to win so bad? Well, at the time he won, he then wanted the money. But after a few years of not winning and being there and winning, he then says, wait a minute, I screwed up. He'll never go back to KC. They can't afford him. But I could see him ending in Denver or Washington, playing with those guys, or Atlanta with Penix. But I think he'll be with your boy in Washington. They don't have any, they have decent receivers, but they got a low payroll, especially because Daniels is on the rookie contract, probably makes $20 a game, so they can afford him. He once said that Tua will be as good as Mahomes, which was, well, that's right, exactly. Why would you think that? At what point did you ever think Tua was as good as Mahomes? I don't think Lamar's as good as Mahomes. I don't think Lamar's good at all, but people seem to. He's the greatest quarterback that's ever played, but he hasn't won any playoff games. But that's beside the point. Who these receivers hype up their quarterbacks even when they suck, even though Tua had injuries, and I don't have a problem with Tua, but he ain't no Mahomes. He's an average quarterback. He looks like he's got a good release, smooth, but he can't read coverage. He's always got a concussion, and he really can't read defenses. This is the problem with these Alabama boys, these Ohio State boys. They can't read defenses, and neither can Caleb. Yes, Luke, this is the year that metals go parabolic. Again, that's going to be nice, and we're waiting for that. But really, what the first goal is to get out of the dollar. So the question is, do I want to be in something that's losing money or something that's making money? So if you're in a stock, do you want to be in this stock that's making money or a stock that's losing money? Well, if you're in a losing money stock, you'd sell it, right? And you'd get into stock going up. Well, that's the same thing here. You have money going down, all the paper monopoly money, or you have gold going up. Why is it such a hard decision for people to understand? I mean, it's a no-brainer. I want to get out of dollars. I want to be in this. I don't want to be in that. And if I want to diversify, I buy a Rolex, I buy a Mantle card. No offense, Bobby. And a Willie Mays card, now that he died, they probably went through the roof. So, I mean, if I want to diversify, it's limited supply, high demand, price go up. And it's very easy concept. That's all you need to know. Is it limited? And is there demand? And that's why I buy Mahomes and Brady and Montana and Rice because I know there's high demand. So that was really the hidden gem that I figured out when I was starting to collect cards in the early 90s. At first, I was getting hoops and tops, and well, there's a billion of these cards. And then I said, well, wait a minute, I should buy the stars. And I started going after the 65 and baseball and the 86 Flair basketball and 87 Flair basketball. So I started, but when I went into it, like the 65, it was Pete Rose, it was Bob Gibson, Koufax, Mantle, Mays, Roger Maris. And when I got into basketball, it was Isaiah, because I'm from Detroit and I met him. And it was Magic and Bird and Kareem and Jordan and da-da-da-da-da. And Barkley, you'd go after the stars because the demand was there. But you really don't know you go into it because they're stars, but you don't really understand it in an economic term that's because where the demand is in the stars. The demand is in gold, but nobody really says it. So you and I don't think we're wondering what's going on, but we hear all the central banks buying gold, but it doesn't show up in the price because the price isn't based on that. The price is based on derivatives. So therefore, they're taking delivery on these derivatives, and we got to wait. But at what point does JP Morgan get tired of losing his ass buying with shorting gold and silver like a fucking idiot? Silver is really going to explode because it's 4 years, but they have to keep the price down or all the banks are going to go out because they have all these huge derivatives that they have to settle like at $22 a share. You think silver's going to 22, but they might have a billion derivatives in it that's shorting it. They want the price to go down, but it won't. So what do? If it goes up to 35, that they got to cover that. So they're in a real bind and they're just grasping for air as the derivatives start collapsing because they're like, no, this isn't what's going to happen. Luke, are you losing belief in metals? No, Luke believes in metals. He's just, let's say we're making ribs, Bobby, and he's hungry and he wants to eat the ribs already. And me and you are making the ribs are going, not yet, Luke. And Luke's freaking out. I want to eat the ribs now. Well, it takes an hour to, we're baking them. It takes an hour. And he keeps coming by every 10 minutes. Are the ribs ready? Are the ribs ready? And we're going, no, we're still cooking them. But when they're done cooking, you can have them. And that's where he's at. He's waiting for them to be cooked, but he can't just wait the hour. So he doesn't want to wait for the gold to finally go, understanding the U.S. is doing all they can to keep the price down. But with Russia, China, and BRICS, and you had 9 new members join BRICS, with all these new members joining and everything else, they have to buy gold. So the 9 new members, Cuba is in BRICS. So with all these Indonesias and all, they have to buy gold because the currency is going to be a gold-backed BRICS currency. And that's what you need to understand. And so they got to go buy gold because they can't use Cuban dollars to be in BRICS. The only way they can trade with everybody is in gold because nobody wants Cuban dollars. Nobody wants US dollars. So you only want gold-backed currency. So you must collect gold and get your reserves up to, 1,000 tons, 5,000 tons. So you're going to need to buy it. And everybody in BRICS needs gold. And so that's what they're kind of waiting on all these people to have it. But there's going to be 159 countries eventually off the dollar into BRICS. And, there's not 159 countries worth of gold out there, especially at these prices. So it's going to be very interesting. That might be one reason. And the other reason they're keeping the price down is so they can buy it. Okay, Cuba, we'll keep the price down for you. Now you got to go buy 5,000 tons. Okay, Indonesia, you got to buy 5,000 tons. So we'll keep the price down for you. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's another reason that the price isn't going yet is China wants a low price because they need the BRICS countries to buy, and they probably want to buy more. I heard they found a new mine in China with a lot of gold. So, again, once they refine it and send it to Switzerland to make coins and then take it, that'll still fly. But they think it out logically. They want to keep the price down because they want to buy. It's as simple as that, right? Does that make sense? You want to keep the price down so you can buy more. Daria is worrying about the prices of groceries going up in Russia. So I sent her a few $100s extra and said, go buy tuna and canned goods and meat, keep it in the freezer and other freezer stuff that you're not going to eat right now, but you have it at this lower price. So she's worried about the inflation. Although today she says, well, it's not going to go up that much. I'm like, well, you scared me. But this is the problem, right? So you start buying before it goes up. So the example of her buying tuna or something at this price before it goes at is, well, I want to buy gold at this price before it goes to that price. So I'm going to hold it at this price for a while, and everybody comes in and buys it until there's nothing left to buy. And then it's the bye-bye blues. Then it's, now it's 10,000 an ounce. Luke woke up. Luke, I had a bad day. Wow, Luke, what's wrong? Getting sick of modern day slavery. Well, it's the world we live in, Luke. But you know what? With all the gold and silver we have, you won't be slaves anymore. We'll be the slave owners. Been waiting on gold and silver since 2013. Well, but it's gone up, hasn't it? 2013, it was what, $600-700 an ounce. Now it's 2,700. I think it's gone up a lot since then. Think about the attack on Wall Street guy. He lost $60,000 in real estate trust. You could have done that instead. Your gold at least doubled because you bought it, let's say 1,300, and it's at 2,700. So you're not doing too bad in it, but that's not even the reason you bought it for the price increase. You bought it to get out of the fucking dollars. So it's win-win for you, and you're bitching. You've doubled your money, and you're still bitching. It happens, Lou. Keep your head up. You tell him, Bobby. I mean, it's like Bobby gets into a slump, and he goes, Bobby slumps were like 0 for 3. And then, I need a hit. I need a hit, right? I mean, but it happens, but then it all changes around. You're a champion and will prevail from the shitty system. We're all out of the system, boys. That's what we've done here. I'm only 43. True that, Bobby Bo. Thanks. No problem, Luke. Oh, it's so touching. And at least you still got a lot of gold in Bitcoin, silver, and the one that has not budged. Silver might be in grave danger, but gold will fly. Oh, no, silver's going to the moon, Bobby Bo, because they need it for the solar panels. But it is money. And so when the gold bubble, they finally run out of gold and gold hits 20,000 an ounce, people won't be able to afford it. And they're all going to jump into silver, and you're going to see silver go to 2,000-3,000 an ounce. You just gotta wait for the gold to go. Will force people into silver because they can't afford it. Just like now, I can afford an ounce a month. I can't go every time and get an ounce of gold. That's why I want these quarter ounces. That I can do, and I don't like that I'm buying silver because I want more gold. I don't really want silver, but I don't have a choice because all he's got is ounces at 2,700, which, I can buy the 1 ounce, but then the next ounce, I got other bills to pay. So that's the thing. And I got money in my safe, and I keep like, should I take out another 5,000 and buy 2 more ounces, which I could do. And I'm like debating that. And I think soon I will do that. But right now I'm not. And, waiting to make sure the job's okay. I've been there 2 months. Now I'm on month 3. Everything seems fine. My boss seems to like me, gave me some work. I'm doing boom, boom, boom. So as long as everything's going well, then I can take more money out of the safe, knowing I'm going to keep getting paychecks in. So we will see. We need the professor to get on Mark McGuire's show. Well, I don't know. Is Mark McGuire still doing the show? Because this is the second week in a row he hasn't been on. Now, I know that bald guy who's really, a bad host has been sick. So I wonder if he's okay and they're not doing the show or what. But Mark, maybe he got sick. But I mean, 2 weeks in a row, I have Friday mornings come on. I don't see Mark McGuire. I see Alligator a little bit more. And then Egon keeps doing these shorts. He's very rarely on. That Matthew Puffenbagger is on, and I hate him. He's an idiot. You can't listen to him. He's like Andy Scheckman. He talks and talks and talks and doesn't say a word. At least when I talk and get on a roll, I'm actually saying something. I'm talking about the Titanic when I get on my rolls. I don't just talk to blab like Peter Schiff does and all these other idiots that just, you're like, what, or I hate when they title it gold to go up 100 times by this date, but they never say the date in the video. And you're like, don't get me to watch the video based on your title and then you don't say it. And now I know you're a scammer and I won't listen to you. You work any days remote or all 5 in the office? I'm starting to work Fridays at home now. I wasn't at first because I didn't know anybody and I wanted to know what to do and I wanted to make sure everything was going away at the job. And then when the Christmas break happened, my associate he was off Wednesday. That means Thursday and Friday there was nobody there. I said, well, that's the whole point of being there. But if nobody's going to be there, my boss wasn't there. I said, if nobody's going to be there, then I might as well work from home. So I worked from home. I went in Thursday. There was nothing to do. I did my football, and then I Friday at home, and then this. So I'm okay. That worked out. Actually, I worked Friday and Monday from home because Monday was the Christmas week started. Monday you worked, and then you were off for Christmas Eve. So now I'm going to be, I think, every Friday I'll be home. What's the point of, there's no reason to drive. It's not a far drive. It's 15 minutes, but I can be home. I can make coffee, make my omelets, eat my salt and pepper and have a good old time. Turn on the TV and just relax. So yeah, I can do all that. So yeah, I'm going to start. I've just started to do that. No Bitcoin anymore, Bobby. Not thrilled about that. Oh shit, Mark McGuire might be giving up too. I don't think he's giving up. Maybe he was censored by YouTube or something. He'll be back. I can't imagine that. Luke, why you just don't buy a few altcoins instead of Bitcoin since it's already ran? The cash out after you 5 to 10 times your money and preserve with gold. Well, altcoins aren't going to go anywhere. They're heavily produced and nobody wants them. The only reason anybody's in Bitcoin because it runs, and everybody's like a child that wants the price to go up. Oh, look at Bitcoin's up today. It was up to back up to 100,000. Well, it's just 92,000 last week, and now it's back to 100. Then it'll go back to 92 because you got Larry Fink doing derivatives, fucking everybody over. But it's already spent, right? Bitcoin, right? So you're going to buy it for what, 100 grand? How many are you going to buy? 1 Bitcoin? Well, I could buy, about 15 ounces of gold for the 100 grand. And who's going to win? Because when the dollar goes out, Bitcoin will not have a value because it's priced in dollars and there is no such thing as a Bitcoin, but the gold will be priced in gold and that'll win. So that's really where you've got to think it through. The dollar will go out just like every other dollar that's been printed to death without backing by gold. Money itself is worthless It's the gold that backs it that gives it the value, or the silver. And so if you don't have it backed, it's not doesn't have a value. Just because the government says, well, it's a $5 bill, so it's worth whatever the manufacturer who are selling goods and services you can buy for the $5, which is nothing now. Take $5 to the grocery store, and maybe you can find two things. My pita bread's now like three something for my 8 pita breads. I think it's $3.39. I can't take $5 and buy two things of pita bread. I can't buy my candy bar, my dark chocolate, $3.59. Buy one, get one at half off. For $5, I can't even get two dark chocolates for $5. So don't tell me there's a value in it. There isn't any. So you're just playing the game. As you've said, Bobby, we're getting out of the matrix by buying gold. Is getting out of the matrix, because everybody is a slave, as Luke so conveniently said. You're all slaves because you got to listen to the government control you. Because you're in the dollars, you get controlled. If you're in gold, there is no control. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Nobody knows you have it. You don't pay tax on it. Some guy said to me, well, you got to pay tax on it. I go, only if I sell it, and I'm not selling it for quite a while, but my value keeps going up and up and up, right? My gold was, it was 1,700, and now it's 2,000, and now it's 2,700. I'm having a grand old time, and I don't pay tax on it because I haven't sold it. And by the time I do sell any, there won't be dollars anymore. So how are you going to tax me? What are you going to tax me? 28% of what? There won't be dollars to tax me. So we got to see what the new dollar is. I doubt these idiots can even figure that out. Should be gold back, but I doubt we have any gold. Maybe a private shadow bank. Maybe JP Morgan was smart enough to actually have gold coins and buy some, but I think they're just a seller. They take it and they sell it to China is what JP Morgan does. And that's why they keep the derivatives. They keep the price down so China can buy. That makes the most logic of why gold isn't and silver aren't going through the roof yet, because they want to keep buying. XRP, what's that, Luke? That's the only one. What is XRP? How much XRP you got? I'm all in on hold silver and the miners. The miners, that's a problem. You're still playing the game. You're still on the Titanic. XRP will run more, so you should be good, and good will bounce back. You're going you going to something coin store this week? I guess you're asking me that. Am I going to? Probably. I get my paycheck. I got my Social Security check today. I get my paycheck Thursday, probably Friday. So I can go to the bank and cash out, and then get my money out of the bank before I can. How's the inventory at your coin store lately? There's not a lot. Like I say, there's 7 or 8 ounces, and that's it. And then he had the 2-ounce silver maple leafs that I've been buying. So I got a tube of 14, which is 28 ounces in the tube. But I don't want more silver. I want more gold, because you can't have you can't have enough gold. My goal is 100 ounces of gold, but my real goal is 1 ton. I really want 1 ton of gold, 32,000 ounces. But I don't know how to get there. So I'll settle for 100, but I'm still a long way from there, because I was out of work for so long. So now get a paycheck, pay some credit cards, pay the rent, buy some gold, put a little bit into the safe. And then, I don't want anything in the bank. I virtually have, enough for, what do I need? Credit cards. Oh, I need rent. And that's it. maybe 500-600 in the bank, and everything else is either in the safe or I'm buying gold. That's it. I go to about 3 different coin stores out here, and they're all limited, especially with gold. Well, think about it, Bobby. The demand this is where you can see it. The demand is huge and everybody's buying it. That's the proof of what's going on, right? You can't find it. We always could find it before. In my last 3 or 4 years, I could go and buy whatever I wanted, as much as I wanted, and I bought. That's why I have credit card debt, because I'd buy, oh shit, the gold price is going to go up. Let me buy, and it did. When I was in Alabama, I bought like $7,000 worth of gold, and it was 1,800. Now it's 2,700. So I'm happy to put it on my credit card, and now I'm paying the credit cards down. But I don't even know how much to do that, because when the dollar goes out, my credit cards go to zero, and they'll have to convert it to the new dollar or whatever they're going to do. But there won't be dollars to pay the credit card. So I have the gold though. Lucas, I had to pay 60K on Bitcoin profits a few years ago. Should I have not paid? Was this a tax? Was this a capital gains? 60,000? Sounds like it. See, how did they know you even had it? I thought it was supposed to be anonymous, right? So they're lying to you that Bitcoin's anonymous, and here's this tax that you had to pay. I would have paid it over time. I would have said, I don't have it. Let me go on a payment plan. I'll pay you $200 a month. And because the money would have been inflationary. So the $200 you paid a few years ago is now worth a few, if you, let's say you paid 500 a month, it would now be worth like $5. So you'd be paying like $5 into that, but you'd get credit as the 500. Understand inflation, the value of the dollar drops. So any debt you owe, you're paying in cheaper dollars. Unfortunately, our boy Bobby got fucked the other way, where he gets this large amount of inflated dollars that are worthless to him. The fucking Mets won't pay him in gold. He should fire his agent who did it, and there should have been a clause. There should have been an inflation clause in there. If only you knew me back then, Bobby, you'd have gotten $1 million in gold every year, and you'd be fine. Or I would have said, take it as a lump sum and take that money and go buy gold with it. That's what I did. I retired from Hiram Walker, my Canadian club, and I'd only been there a few years. So it was like, we'll give you $300 a month till you die, or we'll give you a lump sum of 25 grand. And what do you think I took? I took the 25 grand in about 5 seconds, because I knew $300 in 2 years is going to be worth $30. It's not going to be worth anything. What am I going to do with $300? 25 grand, I can go buy gold at 2,000 an ounce. So I bought 12 ounces of gold with it, which is now worth $2,700 an ounce. So that's how you must think. So any debt you're in, you're paying off with cheap dollars. These inflated, as they keep printing, the dollar keeps losing value. You're all getting fucked by the government. Every time they print this shit, you're getting fucked. This €5, maybe buys you a stick of gum in Berlin or something. I mean, it has no value, right? The dollar has no value. That's a lot of the reason you got credit cards, because you don't really see it going down. But you go to the you go to the grocery store, go buy a 2-liter Coke. Oh, it's $2.95 now. My dollar can't even buy a 2-liter Coke. I need $2.95 to buy it. Cheerios, $5 for a box. My dollar isn't worth shit. I bet in 1971, $1 bought you a box of Cheerios, but not now. You need 5 of them. That's really the Titanic. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the value of the dollar drop and all these prices rise. and you're all fucked. You're all slaves. And oh, what are you going to do? Cry? Oh shit, my dollar isn't worth it. Why are all the prices going up? No, because the dollar is worthless. The dollar doesn't have a value because you're printing the fucking thing to zero. But people have a hard time understanding that concept. Look at the dollar. It says $10 on it. It says $20. And that's the problem. The girls in Amsterdam, they're still $60. You're like, I'm like educating them, going, you should probably charge like an ounce of silver instead of $60. But do you think they changed their price? No, but should they? Of course. But that's why, so you get out of something going down into something going up. It's as simple as that. I don't know how else to explain it. The value of the dollar is dropping, and you can see it in the prices. Right now, some prices like oil, I can still fill up my tank. I got it at $2.89, last week. So it's still not $20, but they're keeping the price of oil down. So there's certain commodities they're keeping the price down, gold and silver being some of them. And that's really what you have to understand. Unfortunately. And it'll never go away because every government wants votes and they keep printing the money. And then in their minds, I'll just print more money. So if I'm running the thing, I'll just print more money. I'll print $1 million, not understanding the value of the million. That's why, did you ever see millionaires in the 1980s or even the early 90s? There was millionaires. There was no billions and there was no trillions. Now all of a sudden there's billionaires coming out of the woodwork. Well, you know what that is? That's the value of the dollar dropping, and now it takes $1 billion versus it took $1 million. You never had that. $36 trillion debt. You never even knew what the word is. So it's probably close to 37 trillion by now. And the interest rate, where do they get the money for the interest rate? They print it, which makes the value of the dollar drop even more. And you're not going to use Bitcoin to pay off the debt because the government doesn't have the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin's owned by Luke and Bobby and all the Bitcoin people. They own the Bitcoins. So the government can't. How's the government going to take the Bitcoin and pay the debt? They don't have the Bitcoin because it's not a government money. It's an individual money. And it's not even money because nobody uses it to buy and sell things. There's no market for it, right? You cannot go to get a pizza with Bitcoin or go to Kroger's or go to a football game or go buy gold with it. I guess some places do, but generally it's not being traded, it's being kept, right? You got the Mahomes card. I'm not trading this, I'm keeping it. Now at a certain price, I will trade it. But the Bitcoin, it doesn't matter what the price is. These guys are, this Michael Saylor's convincing you that it's going to go to $1 million. Big fucking deal. Try to get your money, which you won't be able to get out of the bank. And B, it's in dollars. And when the dollar collapses, it'll be worth nothing. But these guys can't think like that. They can't understand that the value of the dollar is going to zero and it won't have a value. This is the roadblock people don't get. And I'm thinking, how do I explain it so people understand the dollar doesn't have a value? So if you're in a $500,000 house, it isn't worth anything. People won't catch that concept. Oh, well. Who's up? Okay, Bobby, you had a coin store in Alabama. Not really. There was one or two, but they wouldn't sell. The one guy was stealing money from this old lady. He wouldn't even, she was bringing in silver and candlesticks and silverware and stuff. And the guy was screwing her. He wouldn't even give her spot, which was $25. And I was ready to say, I'll buy it from you for spot. I mean, he's screwing this like 70-year-old poor lady out of spot, but he wouldn't sell it. So why would he sell it for? Oh, I don't sell it. Oh, so you just screw the lady and that's it? And I knew what he was doing, and I was pretty pissed about it. But no, there wasn't any true gold stores in Alabama. No casinos, no restaurants. It's a pitiful state. Capital gains. Yeah, I wonder if there will ever be a break or collapse of the system so gold goes up. What do you mean a break or a collapse? The system's about to collapse. Are you not understanding the class today? Um, if there will ever be a break or collapse of the system, gold's going up. Gold just went up to 2,700, right? The system's done. The system's collapsed. It already has. The money's worthless. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Only people don't realize it at this point yet. They don't get that the Titanic, you're on the Titanic and it hit the iceberg and the water's coming in. You don't realize the boat's sinking yet until you look and the boat's 90% in the water and then the bell goes off. Oh shit, the boat's sinking. But when it first happened, nobody realized the boat was sinking if you watch the movie. That's where we're at, Luke. The boat's sinking, but people don't realize it yet, except for us. And we go, Luke, Bobby, let's grab our gold and let's go on the lifeboat. And we're in the lifeboat and we're out in the middle of the sea and the boat's sinking and we're going, yeah, but we got our gold and we're in the lifeboat. I mean, that's people don't realize because people aren't trained to realize it. They don't believe that the government could fuck everybody over, which is what they're doing. However, the government also, this government and the Japanese and the Chinese and the Russians and the Brits and the Germans and the Swiss and the this and the that and every country have been fucked. And so everybody's doing the same thing. Well, we got to trust our government. Who else do we trust? You trusted George Soros and you're all getting fucked by trusting him. We are out of the game with our gold and silver. So buy more gold and silver because you're going to, I got to protect Daria and you got to protect your kids. And, it's a mess. But that's the game. We're all fucked if you just do nothing and stay in dollars or stay in the stock market or stay in Bitcoin. You're fucked. You'll see. Bobby, in 1991, I signed my, it's hard to believe anymore. I signed my Mets contract for 5 years at $29 million. Now you got Juan Soto getting $765 million for 15 years. That shows you the value of the dollar went down, right? They can give this guy $765. Your $29 million was worth more, Bobby. Your contract in 1991, you could have bought X amount of gold. Juan Soto at $765 for 15 years. So it's not like he gets it a year. So you got about $6 million a year. He's got, I don't know, 100 million. No, that would be 15, 150. I don't know. But all the gold you could have bought in 1991, had you understood it, you would never have to work another day in your life if you took that contract and bought gold with it. But see, you got all the money in 5 years before it got too inflated. It's still inflated. The 29 million you got in 1991 was worth more. So what is it? Let's say 6 million a year. The 6 million you got in 91 was worth more than the 6 million you got in 94 and more than the 6 million you got in 95. But you don't understand that. You couldn't have. This is the problem with these idiots. They make this money. They don't know what they think they have. They think it's real money. It's not. He's not getting any. He's getting zero. The 765 million monopoly money is what he gets. Right? You should call him up and say, Juan, I'll tell you what, give me $15 million and I'll make you rich. Because you're not going to be rich with 765 million monopoly money. Now, I will tell you to go take 10 million of that and buy gold, and it'll be worth more than the 765 million that you're going to get in the next 15 years if they don't default it. First of all, why would I pay anybody for 15 years in baseball? You maybe have 4 or 5 good years, But that's it. You don't get better as you get older. I mean, maybe when you're 20, 21, 22, but once you hit 30, you're not getting better. Maybe you stay the same, but you're probably getting worse unless Barry, who was freakish, who was hitting home run after home run when he was older, and Mark McGwire. But basically, I would sign somebody maybe like you, Bobby, a 5-year contract with richly incentives. I'll give you 500,000. If you hit 300, I'll give you 2 million. If you hit 40 homers, 2 more million. And if you don't make any errors, another 2 million. That's the contract I would give a ball player. I wouldn't just give him 29 million. I'd say you've got to bat 300. You got to drive in 100 runs. You can make 5 errors in the outfield, and that's it. Making my contract look like I flip burgers. Well, the guy who flipped burgers didn't make 20. I worked at the grocery store when I was 16. I made 10.67 an hour. Okay, so yeah, that's flipping burgers, Bobby. Yeah, they're making 4 times, but the money isn't worth anything. You won. Your money was worth something. Their money's not worth anything. Their money's all inflation. One of my buddies mentioned something similar to Luke's comment, saying gold is not awful if the world ended. Basically, some believe that for gold to go up, we need the worst case scenario to occur. Not at all. Gold should just be like a Rolex. Do we need the end of the world for the Rolex to go up or for the mantle card to go up? No. If you just got out of the way of gold and silver is an asset, would go up on its own. You don't need to help it up. It'll go up. Just get out of the fucking way. But because you have derivatives and paper, it makes it look like it only goes up if there's hyperinflation. But you don't need inflation for gold to go up. It's an asset, just like a stock, just like a baseball card. No, you don't need. Is Bitcoin high because of you need the end of the world? That maybe that's more of a case of we need that for Bitcoin to go up. But gold, if you just left it alone and left it at free market, gold would be 20,000 an ounce without inflation. But the point is, you're always going to have inflation because these idiots don't know what they're doing who are running it, or they're all listening to George Soros, which basically says they're always going to print the shit out of the money. If it isn't backed by gold, the money is already inflated, and you should be buying gold the minute 1971 happened, and we're off the gold standard. Who's got gold? I'm buying gold 1971 at $35 an ounce. Now, how are you doing, Luke? If you bought it at 35 and now it's at 2,700, are you still waiting for it to go up? I mean, because it's worth a lot more than 2,700. No, you don't need a worst case scenario, but I'll tell you, you're having a worst case scenario. You have massive inflation in the whole world. Is that a good thing? It's good for brics because he who has the gold makes the rules. And we don't have gold, and they do. And they're going to be making the rules. And my suggestion is learn how to eat Chinese food and speak Russian or Chinese because we're going to be living there. I don't think there's been an athlete in history that has ever actually went through a 10-year plus contract. It's just, because you're not really signing it until you're 25 and you've played so many games and you don't have much game. Look at Mike Trout. He sucks. He never should have got that contract and he doesn't do anything. His team's never made the playoffs. Baseball is not a one-man show. You got to have good pitching and good defense and a 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters. You're not winning with one guy. Luke, when will it break, Professor? I'm telling you, it's very soon. The dollar can't go on anymore. It's already worthless. You've got 36 trillion in debt. It's very soon, but it's not a football game. We can tell you the Super Bowl is February 5th. I can't tell you February 5th here, but I can tell you it will happen at some point. Read the signs, and that's what I'm giving you are the signs. The signs are the big debt, all these other countries going broke in Europe, 10 countries going broke in Europe, Japan and China going broke. Russia's got to pay for war. The Middle East has to pay for war. These wars are very expensive. The U.S. printing their money to shit. That's the signs. That's what I'm telling you is what you look at, and it's all happening. Even Egon says, I think by the end of the first quarter in 2025, it's going to the gold and silver prices will start going. Now, will that create anything? Probably not. People will just see it. But okay, Bitcoin's at 100,000. Did anything happen to the dollar? No. So if gold goes to 100,000, is it really going to affect the dollar? No. So I don't get where they're all like scared. Well, it takes an alien invasion for gold to go up. No, why? That's all bullshit. There's no reason for it. Bobby is set for life. Us, no. Oh, you're set for life, Luke. You just don't realize it at this point. I told you, your kids are rich. You just don't realize it. I feel like I should have just worked for the post office, made a pension. Well, what could all that be? It'll be in money. You'll never get it. John Gruden with the Raiders had a 10-year contract to coach, and all he did was have 3 losing seasons in the get fired for calling the GM a monkey and got called a racist. I like Gruden, though. He's a funny character. I never liked him as a coach. As a person, I don't know. I never really liked him, but I thought as a coach, he was an idiot. He stole the Super Bowl because his buddy on Oakland gave him all this. They never switched signs. So Tampa basically knew all the plays that Oakland was going to run. They never switched them. That was a Ponzi scheme, too, because Callahan was paid off and he didn't switch it. He was going to switch it, and then he got paid off to not. And so they were going to lose. That was a fixed game. Just like I think this Ohio State-Oregon game, I think, was fixed. Oregon not to play a cover 2 and take away the little kid on Ohio State when Michigan played cover 2 and they only got 10 points. Oregon doesn't play a cover 2. That had to be a fixed game. I'm sorry. You've got to be able, when you're at my level and you understand the theories, all you got to do is play a cover 2, double team the guy. He won't make a catch like against Michigan. So how does he score 3 or 4 touchdowns, long ones? Where's your double coverage? So I'm sorry, that game was fixed. They wanted Ohio State because Ohio State's got a lot of money and paid off it. That's all I can say. He still lives out here in Tampa. I saw him the day I met Adrian Peterson back. Well, that was a big day for you, Bobby. Did you tell him to buy gold? Are you telling your buddies to buy gold? Is Barry buying gold? Or is Adrian buying gold? I mean, this is something that they need to do because they're all going to go broke. If you're thinking the dollar is going to save you, you're fucked. It's not. You're not going to be saved by the dollar. You need to get into a different dollar. It's just like a stock. You're in GM stock. It's going to zero. Is GM stock going to save you? No, I better go into this other stock. Let me go into Microsoft. So what people are doing is they're staying in GM, right? As it goes down and out. So everybody in paper is going to zero. Now, nobody talks about it because probably nobody understands it but me. Me and Egon, we understand you keep printing, it loses value, it goes to zero. It's a very simple concept. And that's what's happening. So all these people who are sitting in dollars are all getting fucked. It's not a maybe. It's not. It's not an opinion. This is what's happening. I mean, Luke, you sell tennis rackets. I'm sure the price went up, didn't it? Maybe it was 300. Now it's 600. You didn't raise price on the tennis racket. It's the dollar collapsing. And for you to make the money on the tennis racket, you need to charge more. To make the same amount of money you made at 200, you now charge 500. What kills me are these people going to these football games or baseball games and paying all this money. They got to be out of their freaking minds. These Lion fans, what are they, nuts? They're acting like they've never seen a football team. Now, granted, the Lions haven't won anything since 1957, but I've turned off them, 1970, right? When they lost to Dallas 5-0, this team sucks. Even with Barry, they couldn't win anything. So why are you all excited about the Lions? I just roll my eyes and do a shake my head, Bobby, and go, these teams absolutely suck. I'm not rooting for them because now they got good. They got lucky on Jared Goff stinks. All of a sudden he's having a good year. He stinks. He's not a good quarterback. So I don't root for the Lions just because they got good. But these people are paying $500, $1,000 for tickets. Where are they getting that money from? Oh, on the credit card, probably, right? They don't have the money. So it's just like the government. They're printing money to go. They're using their credit cards to go to these things, but they got to pay it back unless the dollar goes out, and then they won't owe the credit cards. In matter of fact, Brady got a 10-year contract with Fox to do commentary. Well, that's different. He's not playing, right? The skill goes down. Brady has no skill. What Brady's doing is embarrassing himself. He sounds like an idiot doing commentary, and you can tell him why he said it when you see him. He has no clue what he's doing. He doesn't make the game interesting. He doesn't bring insights, and he sounds like an idiot. Bobby, you buying gold with your paychecks? They must be hype in Detroit. They 15-2. I don't trust them though. They are 15-2, and I honestly have not bet on them once this year. I started locking them, but mostly the overs. I locked them yesterday over, and I almost won it. I had 52 down to 46, and we got to 40. And if I got the touchdown near the end, or one of the touchdowns when Minnesota had the ball at the goal line the whole first quarter, I would have won it, which I didn't think I would. But Minnesota against that defense, my analysis was that Sam Darnold cannot handle a blitz. He had no hot reads, or it was the offensive coordinator. I mean, he's trying to throw the ball at Jefferson 20 yards down the field, and he doesn't have time because they're blitzing him. You needed to just hit dink to the backside of the backfield. Where was that all game? Are you fucking kidding me? You didn't have hit the back out of the backfield? Oh my God, what kind of crap is that? I mean, I would fire the offensive coordinator. Minnesota's not going to do anything if they can't handle a blitz. What do you think the Rams are going to do in Philadelphia and Tampa? What do you think they're going to do to them? They're all going to blitz them because they realize that this guy stinks against the blitz. So Darnold is back to Darnold. To send him back to USC. You can't play J.J. McCarthy because he sucks. So I don't know who their quarterback is next year, but they could have had Penix. They blew that one. There's no gold in these coin stores out here, like only have shitty gold as best. So I bought silver. I had someone buy 2 Billy Joel Rod Stewart tickets for $1,350 today. Are you crazy? Or are you selling them? Oh, you're selling them, Luke. Okay, well, that's good for you, Luke. See, you can buy a half ounce of gold with that. Unfortunately, it looks like my silver is here for show because it sure as hell hasn't performed. It's going to, Bobby. You're like Luke. This is not an instant gratification. This is just being patient and waiting for the price to go, which it will, because you know who has the gold and silver? The Russians and the Chinese and the BRICS. They're on our side or we're on their side. Just wait. They're still buying. When it runs out is when the price goes to the moon. It will go to the moon. Just be patient. It's not us. You didn't buy a stock. You didn't buy it with the thought of it's going to go from $30 an ounce to 3,000 an ounce in a month. That is not why you bought silver or gold, right? You didn't buy it. You know it's going to go up. You know it's worth more, but I've never said, oh, it's going to go up tomorrow. I keep waiting for the day where it just explodes, which is coming, but I don't know what day it is, but I know it will happen. So you're buying it you're waiting for it to go, but you're buying it to get out of the dollar. And the dollar, if you understood, the value of that has dropped dramatically. So you're way ahead and you don't know it because you're out of the dollar. So the $30 of silver is really worth about 500 right now once it gets physical, which it will, and then you'll understand it. You're not seeing the other side of the equation. You're not seeing the dollar being worthless, and you're not going, oh, I got out of the dollar, which keeps going down. So look at all the money I'm making in silver by not being in the dollar. That's the other part of the equation. I'm not in the dollar, so I'm not losing. Then it's the gold and silver going up. But what you're looking at is I'm not in the dollar anymore, which loses money every day because they keep printing it. Social Security, I got my check today. Where'd that come from? They printed it. They got to pay the interest. That's coming soon. I think in March or probably in January. $1 trillion. Where are they getting it from? That makes the value of the dollar go down. Giving the money to Ukraine for the war, paying off the government employees to get their paychecks. All this is ruining the value of the dollar, and that's going down, and that's what the point is. You're not losing money in your money. I'm telling you about your contract. It's $1 million a year that is now worth 10,000 a year when you get it. That's losing money. However, because you still get $1 million, you can still run and buy gold and silver with the $1 million. That's what I went into my gold store and I said, my only fear is that you'll stop accepting dollars for the gold. And he looked at it and he goes, no, I don't see that happening for any time soon. And I'm like, good, thank you. That's my fear, is that I'll come in with $2,000 to buy a half ounce. He says, no, we're not taking dollars. When you hear that, that's when you rejoice. That's when gold and silver hits the moon. Like you should sell your gold, silver, and crypto and just buy my card. Well, your card's not really. It's still kind of infected by the inflation, Bobby. All you had to do was hit another 500-600 homers, Bobby, and your card would have been worth something. My card is being suppressed too. Seems like all the best assets are being held down. My son got an older Pirates set of tops for Christmas, and you and Clemente were in it. Wait a minute. Bobby did not play with Roberto Clemente. He retired in 1970. Bobby came in 80. Here's his rookie card. This is 1980, 1986. Bobby played with the White Sox and then the Pirates. He hit 256 in 138 games, 426 at bats, 109 hits, 55 runs, 16 doubles. But here's Bobby's only 3 home runs. But he did have 43 RBIs, 8 steals. Bobby had power and speed and a glove, 62 walks, and 88 strikeouts. Mm-hmm. But then Mantle had a lot of strikeouts too. But Mantle hit a lot of home runs. So that's Bobby in 86. So I don't know what set had Clemente in it. I got Clemente cards in the 60s and the 70s. But Bobby's not in those. He's not in the 65 top set. Bobby being born in 1963. I'm surprised you didn't start playing in 1965, Bobby. You'd have been 2 years old there. Oh yeah, that's as good a Christmas gift one can ever receive. And you worried about metals? Well, I gave out silver and gold. I'm thinking of doing that for Halloween. Kids come to the door and you give them an ounce of silver. Trick or treat, here's an ounce of silver. And the kid wouldn't, he'd go, I'd want candy instead. That's why Barry put up such great numbers. I was betting behind him. So he got great pitches to hit. There you go. That was it. Except for when he was at San Francisco and you weren't there, unfortunately. You didn't hit any in McCovey Bay. That would have helped you, Bobby. But you got some good cards. And again, the PSA 10 ones. There's a Topps Tiffany in that year is worth a lot more than that. But keep in mind, this is the biggest thesis, is that the dollar, what loses value is flooding the market, right? So what they're really doing is flooding the market with this. So when they print $1 trillion to pay the $36 trillion debt interest, they're flooding the market. They're creating dollars out of thin air and paying somebody. I don't know. Well, I guess the debts own their bonds, right? So that's how it works. We need to pay for stuff. We create bonds that the Fed then the Chinese, Japanese are supposed to be buying the bonds, but they don't want it because they don't want our dollars anymore. They're actually selling the bonds to buy gold. And so the Fed is buying our own bonds, which is Banana Republic. So that'd be like me selling the Mahomes card for $1,000 and I'm buying it. I'm buying my own auction. That's what the U.S. is doing. So it creates the debt. So when they print the debt, it pays the bonds from China and Japan. That's why they got to pay it. But that's why China and Japan don't want it anymore, because they're getting paid in these inflated dollars. So that's the real issue, is the inflated dollars. So you still get $100. You don't realize it doesn't buy shit. So when it's worthless, it's like you go to the grocery store with $100, used to fill your cart all the way up. Now you put 5 things. You go to the meat counter and there goes your 100. I went there yesterday. I got a pound and a half of salmon, a steak, a hamburger, and a chicken, and it was like $20 for the salmon and $10 for the chicken and another $10 for the hamburger. And you're like, that's $60, and I got a hamburger, chicken, and salmon. I didn't even get the ribs, or I didn't even fill up the cart. I bought some avocados, and they were on sale, and some blueberries on sale. And, it was $60, and I might have got 10 things. And that's the point. It's still the $100, but it's what does the $100 buy? And that's what I'm telling you. When you get the gold-backed currency, and I keep telling you this, Luke, when you go to buy the house, you're going to give him 2 ounces of gold, and he's going to give you the house, because the value of the dollar will be so strong, but the house will lose all this value. There was a YouTube I was showing the other day. Here you go. $100 silver, 2 weeks left. That was 4 days ago. Here you go. Shanghai middle class ruined. Homes dropped from 400K to 50K. This is what I'm talking about, Luke. So they had a $400,000 house, no demand, inflation, the prices dropped to 50K. Now all of a sudden your gold's 25,000 an ounce, 2 ounces of gold, you're buying a $400,000 house. That's what you're going to do. not priced in gold, it's going to be priced in gold, not dollars. So right now with $50,000 with one, which is it's 7-1. So with about you don't even need $10,000 would buy you 70,000 won. The house is 50,000. You can go buy a house in China for $8,000. And if you use gold, you can probably use 1 ounce. That's my point. Things are priced in dollars that have no value in monopoly money. Gold is real money, so all the values come down. Your tennis rackets you saw, how much you selling the tennis racket for? I would say Jimmy Connors, but you probably don't have any Jimmy Connors. And I couldn't name you a tennis player besides Jimmy Connors and McEnroe. And so let's say you're selling them for 500 in monopoly money. Well, when the gold comes out, the gold back currency, you're going to be selling them for $5. A $5 gold will buy the $500 tennis racket. And you'll be very happy to get the $5 gold because it's real money. Who wants it? It's like me. I would never sell my gold for 2,700 monopoly money unless I needed it to, go to Russia to meet Daria and then I would sell an ounce to get the money for the flight or to give her something or something like that. But otherwise, it's only if I'm going to spend it right away, but I don't want any of my I don't want it contaminated with this bullshit. I don't want my gold contaminated with this because it's not worth anything. And that's what you got to understand. Where am I at? He put you in his baseball card book. Hey, your poor son. You were actually my favorite player. Oh, my God. Quit kissing Bobby's ass. As a kid watching the 91-92 season with Van Slyke and Barry, I do think it's you. Thanks, Luke. I appreciate it. I had fun playing in front of the Pirate fans. So Luke doesn't believe you're Bobby, because you won't tell him the name of the doctor at the hospital, and he thinks, well, why won't you tell me that? So what can we say, Bobby? I believe you're Bobby. Who the fuck would make up Vanilla 420? Although I did think you were a girl at first. The first time I saw you, I didn't think it was Bobby Bonilla in the class. But as we started talking baseball, I kind of knew it was you and LSU. But you didn't go to LSU. Did you go to college? Doesn't say here. You were a valuable handyman when White Sox traded him back to the Pirates. Well, if you're so valuable, why did the White Sox trade you? Was hitting 269 with 2 homers, 27 RBIs, 26 RBIs, and 4 stolen bases in 75 games for Chicago at the time of the deal. Missed most 85, appearing in just 39 games for the Pirates. Well, why? What happened in 1985? Prince William Farm. You suffered a broken leg. Oh, okay. Is that heal? Are you better? Did you put the cayenne pepper on it yet? Hit 264 with 11 homers and 71, but it doesn't give me a college. Now, this is a Dunrose card. There is a Canadian one called Leaf, which is exactly the same. If you have Leaf cards as opposed to Dunrose cards, they're worth 50 times the value. I have a Greg Maddox that I'm looking for. It's a couple $100 in Dunrose, and Leaf it's like $2,000. And I know I've seen it, and I don't know what I did with it. I'm going through my safe, because that's where all the good cards are. And I'm like, where the fuck did I put that Leaf card? But if you have Leaf, it's Canadian, and it's worth a lot more than the Dunrose. Bobby Bolt. 420 is the childhood address number in the Bronx, not weed related like most things. Well, it does cause the problem. It is a strange number to put up there. Like I wouldn't be professor and then my address 12345. Yeah, that's my home address. But we believe you, Bobby. That's all that matters. I found a guy at work had a Georgia sweatshirt on, and I told him my Alabama story, where I told him that Georgia let Alabama win the SEC championship, so they would be in the playoff or be in the championship game. And then I said Georgia's going to kill them in Georgia's going to try in the regular game, and Georgia beat the hell out of them. And I told them that nobody at work congratulated me for picking the game. And I said, I hate the Alabama people for that. And he was a Georgia guy, so he lives in North Carolina. For some reason, he was at work for a few days. So anyway, that's where he first I thought it was a Green Bay. It had a G. I thought, oh, he's a Green Bay Packer guy. And then, no, he's Georgia. See how sports, you see a guy and he's got, a Georgia or some unique thing, and it's a whole friendship. Because now, if he had Alabama, I wouldn't talk to him. But Georgia, I'd talk to him. Bobby, I went to an institution as I did not originally get selected in the draft. We all know how GMs don't know shit about the actual play on the field, and baseball is no different. Yeah, we see it with Daniel Jones all the time, Trevor Lawrence. We can go on and on and on that these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. Would be awesome to meet you and the professor with the flight to Tampa and a hefty bill at Tampa. Well, that's coming. We'll get probably, I guess, by the end of the first quarter, gold and silver are supposed to really skyrocket. That's what Egon said by the end of the quarter. So we'll get together. I'm ready to go. I read that there's a new thing for the airlines, international and local. So to fly to Tampa, you need a passport now or some digital license that proves, your birth certificate and all this other shit on there. But then we get the birth certificate on our driver's license. Isn't that the proof of where we're born? So I guess we can travel with a passport, like from here to Tampa. However, to go to Barcelona, I'm not sure what we'll need. We need this visa or something. If we're in the Schreiberg thing, which I don't know what that is, certain countries in Europe, it's like $7. So it's basically a bullshit tax to generate $7 more. Just raise the fucking ticket price to $7. And so we'll need a little visa. We're now all we need is a passport to go to Europe. Now we're gonna need this little stupid visa for $7 to fly to Europe. It's so stupid. I think my passport's good for another 3 years. I think it expires in 27. But it's getting ridiculous. All that, all you need to travel now, a pain in the ass. They really are making you not want to fly. I mean, which I guess is their end goal. Except for it will piss off a few airline companies who are looking for that. But yeah, we'll Capital Grill it whenever you guys want. Sorry I didn't make a Steeler game, but it was just really, I went to Italy and then I got the job, so it really was difficult. But we'll get together. Anyway, so you've gotta understand what's happening, basically. And it's there's a lot of idiots out there who have ruined the money in all these countries, France, England, France, right? It was that whole, that archbishop, I can't remember his name. And the whole Le Miserable thing is about the French Revolution, where the French inflated their money and it was worthless. Nobody could eat. I go to Daria and I say to her, keep in mind that the grocery stores, to be in business, still need to sell their inventory. So does Putin set the prices in the grocery store, or do the grocers? Is it a free market, or is Putin setting the prices? She hasn't given me the answer. She probably doesn't understand the question, but that's the point. She's given me the FX rate. I look at the FX rate on this FX, and I go, oh, it's $1, it's $110. So $1 buys you 110 rubles. But when I give her money, she says, well, I only get 98. I don't get the 110. So I look up the banks in Russia and I go, maybe she can compare. Maybe this bank gives her 105 and the bank she's at gives her 98. But I read they're all state run. So Putin runs all the fucking banks. So I don't think you're going to get a competitive price where one of them is going to give you 105 and the other gives you 98. So I quickly said, well, you're probably fucked by the state run. However, the grocery stores, the reason they don't make Coke $20 a bottle now is because nobody will buy it. What good is it if nobody will buy it? You've got to meet the market, which is what the market's purpose is. So if you price something and there's no buyers, the grocery store goes out of business because I can't sell my inventory. The whole goal of a grocery store is to sell their inventory, to buy it and then sell it more. But you can only sell it for what the market will bear. So if you made Chips Ahoy $20 a bag, nobody's going to buy it. So you're fucked because you bought it and now you can't sell it. Their whole point is to sell it. So they got to find the right price for somebody's going to buy it. That's why you're not seeing $20 for Chips Ahoy and $20 for Coca-Cola, because they won't sell, and the grocery store is the one who will go out of business, and we'll find other food to eat. So that's really the whole key. So I kind of warned her, prices can't go up that much because then nobody can eat and grocery store will go out of business. And unless it's state-run grocery stores, and I don't know, I thought Russia was more free market, then the grocery stores will all go out of business because nobody can afford to get the food. And then everybody's going to starve because nobody can afford the food. So it says, I don't know that it's going to go up that much. If it is, it's because you've got massive inflation in the ruble to pay for the war, which means that the gold-backed currency is very close. If this is what's happening, if you read all the signs, the inflation and Putin sitting on 20,000 tons of gold has to come out with the gold-backed currency. And then you boys are happy because the gold price has to be 20,000 an ounce because he doesn't have enough gold at $2,700 to make enough money for everybody in Russia. And then everybody in China and everybody in India, they have to have a much higher gold price because everybody's not going to have an ounce of gold. You're going to print these backed by gold. And the only way to do it is gold must be a much higher price so you can print enough of it. Ergo, your $10,000 gold and your $2,000 silver. So that's where we're headed. So I'm trying to get, is it a free market grocery store or not? Today was, or the 7th, I believe, is Russian Christmas because they're Orthodox. So they celebrate Christmas December 25th and January 7th. So she said prices are supposed to go up January 12th, which, how do you know that? That's why I think maybe Putin's setting the price. But you still got to sell it at what people can afford to buy, or they're all going to starve because they can't afford to eat. I said, don't worry, I'll make sure you have it, but I got to get you some gold and silver if I can. I can't bring it in, but can you sell it? And, I can sell it and give her the money, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather give it to her and wait till the price hits 10 grand and then she can sell a little. But that's Russia for you. So, but in America, it's, you go to Kroger's, if they can't sell their inventory, they go out of business, and they're not going out of business. So that's why they keep their prices in check. They can't just make Coca-Cola $10 a bottle. So that's why inflation, by looking at prices, is not real because the prices are in check by us. I'm not buying the Coke, so they can't raise the price. Oh, look, inflation's down. Inflation ain't down. You're printing the money. It's just the prices can't go up because if nobody buys it, they can't raise the price. And that's a simple. And I noticed a lot of buy one, get one, half off. My dark chocolate's $3.59, but if I buy two, I get one at half off. So really I'm paying $1.70 I'm paying $5, let's say $3.50. Let's say I'm paying $5. So I'm paying $2.50 a thing, not the $3.59 they show. So it's even less. But that's not how you measure inflation. It's it's how much money is printed and the value of the money, not the prices. The prices are not measuring inflation. Luke, yeah, real ID, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, that's your birth certificate and all this other stuff that really proves it's probably because of all these foreigners that are that went through the border that aren't real people, that are illegal. And so you need a birth certificate, which these people won't be able to produce. So that way the real IDs will know that, yeah, you're really Howard, you're really a U.S. citizen. So that's what that is. It's over at 30 now. We need this thing to break out to 100. Why? Why do you need it to break to 100? We need a life change, Professor, with these prices. You're about to get it. But think of the alternative. If you're in dollars, you're fucked. Even if you're in stocks and the stock goes up, you're still in dollars. They're not worth anything. They're still monopoly money. So getting off the Titanic is your goal, which is what you've done by getting out of the dollar and into gold and silver. The fact it hasn't reacted yet is because it's not a free market item. It's price fixed by JP Morgan, which we know, but we know the physical price is much, much higher, which is what I just said with the Russian example. He needs gold back currency, and because he's got to pay for the war, and that's it. And so do the Middle East, and all these countries joining BRICS have to pay, and India's dollar is gone, Japan's is gone, China's is gone, Russia's gone. All their dollars are worth. China's dollars are worthless. They've heavily inflated it. They all need the gold back currency, and they all have a lot of expense. So don't care. I keep showing you these Chinese things, and the housing value went down from 400 grand to 50. People are all out of work. You can't get your money out of the bank. Yeah, China's no picnic either. So at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about all this shit with gold and silver. So don't worry about the price as much as that you have it, and buy as much as you can. That is your only. That's taking the blue pill in the matrix, or the white pill, or whatever colored pill. You're getting out of the matrix with gold and silver, and you're protected. They can't fuck with you. They can't say your $60,000 real estate trust is worthless. Your stock went to zero. Oh, you woke up. You went to sleep, and Amazon was $200 a share. You woke up at zero. Well, all the Brits and Germans pulled their money out overnight because they're 8 hours ahead of us, and they sold everything, and all the values dropped. You don't have to worry about that in gold. Gold ain't going to zero. If anything, you're going to wake up and gold's going to be 10,000 an ounce. It ain't going to go to zero. It's going to go to 10,000 or 20,000. And silver, you'll wake up, it'll be $100, $200 an ounce. More than it's going to wake up and it's going to be zero. You're getting a life change. You're not seeing the value of the dollar dropping. That's where you're really getting the life change. Is you're not losing money in the dollar going down. It hurts when you go to the grocery store and you're $60 for a chicken, a hamburger, and a few avocados. That's where you're kind of seeing it, and that's where you're bailed out of it, and you're into the gold and silver. So that's kind of what you're not seeing, is the dollar losing the value, where you can't see it as easily that the value's down. That's the difference. All right. I'll talk playoffs tomorrow. We don't have all the injuries anyway. I can quickly go through the games and the spreads. Gold 26.39, silver 30.05. Let me just write these down. All right. Wild card. So we open Saturday with San Diego at Houston. San Diego 342.5. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, they just played. Baltimore 10-44 on Amazon. What would be the point of showing this on Amazon? How many people have Amazon? It's Saturday night at 8. How many people are going to run to a place to watch it on Amazon? None. If I don't have Amazon, I'm not going to go buy it for this game. I believe, Luke, if you're in Pittsburgh, you'll get the game on ABC or NBC anyway. You'll get the local, but what's with this Amazon bullshit? Then we go to Sunday, 1 o'clock, Denver at Buffalo. Buffalo 9-47. Green Bay, Philly 4.5, 45.5. Or Philly is favored. Tampa, Washington, Tampa 3, 50.5 to Washington. And Minnesota's 1.5, 47 to the Rams. The Rams lost to Seattle 30-25. I think that was a mistake. The Rams should have played to win instead of resting, and I don't think they'll win. Washington, Tampa will be a great game. Green Bay, Philly. Hurts is definitely a problem there. Great defense from Philly. We'll see. Buffalo, Denver. Denver will give them all they want. Baltimore, Pitt. That receiver on Pitt needs to go. They need to just cut him. Pickens, he doesn't catch the ball. Ball hits him in the hands. He drops it. No, son. This is the NFL. This is not college. I would cut him immediately. And Houston and San Diego, I'm not surprised San Diego's favorite there. So that's football, but we'll get more into it because I don't even have injuries. They're not even listed yet. And we pretty much have everything. I got to update my stats from yesterday, which I normally would do tonight, but it's too late. So I'll probably do it tomorrow. I don't do it at work. Certain things I do at work, but I can't get on. I can't bring my laptop and get on. Yeah, I'm doing football stats right now. I'll get with you in a little bit. You think the Steelers have a shot to send Lamar home, Professor? Yeah, because it's Lamar. But the George Pickens has to catch the ball, right? And Baltimore normally chokes in the playoffs, but Russell Wilson was looking good. He has struggled lately and lost 4 in a row. They may need to bring Justin Fields. No, they don't need Justin Fields if they want to win. What's happened is Pickens was out, and then he came back and he dropped all these passes. He dropped 5 passes right in his hands. It's not Russell Wilson. He's not the problem. Plus, look at who they played. Baltimore twice, Philadelphia, Kansas City. So Pittsburgh's losing to the best teams. They're not losing to the Jets and Miami and teams in Chicago. They're not losing to those teams. So the fact they just had a really tough schedule and they lost to really good teams, says it now. The way they lost to KC and then Baltimore, where they lost by double digits, is a problem. But it's not Russell Wilson. He's not the problem. I hate when people look at the quarterback as the problem when it's not the quarterback who's the problem. It's the defense. If I'm looking at the Minnesota game yesterday, I'd fire the offensive coordinator immediately because they had the ball at the inside the 10 in the first quarter 3 or 4 times and didn't score a touchdown. They didn't run the ball. If you notice the plays, I think they ran once, and then it was 3 incomplete passes on stupid routes that never had a chance, and the Lions would blitz because they're at the goal line. You need to run there. You need to run sweeps or the Dave Casper play where it's a fake run and then you hit the tight end. You need to run those plays. You can't just drop back to pass because nobody's going to be open because there's no room. There's no fair. You only can go 10 yards, so I'm not worried about your speed. Jefferson could have had 2 touchdowns, but Darnell overthrew him. What the fuck was that? Yeah, the one in the corner, he's got it, and he overthrows him. And then the one where he does hit it was way over his head. Darnold panicked like he never saw a blitz before. Now, I'm going to blame the offensive coordinator and because he didn't call little screen passes or little plays, quick hitters where you can blitz me and I'm going to dump it. How often did you see Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and Brady just – Seattle tried to blitz Tom Brady and he'd get rid of the ball in 2 seconds. You didn't see that yesterday, did you? That's the offensive coordinator. I do blame Darnold for acting like he's never seen a blitz before, but that was ridiculous. So I blame the offensive coordinator. So before I start blaming Russell Wilson, I don't. And Pittsburgh's got a terrible offensive coordinator, that coach from Atlanta. He sucked at Atlanta, so now let's make him our offensive coordinator, and he sucks there. And then I see he's interviewing with the Bears or something. You're like, what part of this guy do you see is any good? That's a good point, except that one loss to Jameis Winston and the Browns. That was pretty bad. They should have lit up the shitty Bengals defense, though. I agree with that. I bet the over in that game. I don't know if I won it or not. No, I don't think I did. Notre Dame, Penn State. Excuse me, should be interesting, but I'm leaning Irish. Well, I think this is where I think Notre Dame's the better team. However, I think it's an under because Notre Dame didn't do anything against Georgia. They ran a punt back or kickoff back, and they sacked the quarterback into a fumble at like the 10-yard line. So they had a 10-yard draw and a kickoff return. Otherwise, Georgia got them. So I'm not looking at Notre Dame's offense. Riley Leonard can't throw the ball 5 yards. So I don't like that, but Notre Dame's got the defense and the running. Penn State, I don't know what they got. I mean, they beat Minnesota 26-25. I'm really impressed. How this whole playoff is absolutely ridiculous with, wait a minute, why is Penn State playing SMU at home and then they get Boise? Why do they get Boise? Why doesn't Oregon get Boise? The whole thing is the stupidest playoff I've ever seen. It's half of it's fixed. Ohio State played Oregon to knock Oregon out instead of Oregon playing Boise as they should have. I just don't. I'm really insulted by this college playoff. It's very hard for me to even watch. I can't analyze it because Ohio State loses to Michigan and then beats Oregon. Really? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. That's fixed. I can't watch fixed things. The Buckeyes should smash Texas. Well, I don't know. Texas played Georgia 2 tough games. Ohio State lost to Michigan. So again, it's which Ohio State team shows up, is Texas really going to let the little receiver run wild, or are they going to knock him out? If it's me coaching Texas, that receiver doesn't play past the first quarter. He's out, right? He's got a concussion. The first 5 minutes of the game, he's getting crushed, and he's out of the game. Or my quarterback doesn't play anymore. Okay, that's how I coach. Give me the 15-yard penalty, but I win the game, which is the whole point. So I'm sorry, I'm not letting that kid beat me. Just like Alabama, they didn't let Alabama. Once they took the kid away, Alabama was nothing. Alabama lost to fucking Michigan. Michigan's terrible, right? And then, Ohio State loses to them. You can't beat Oregon and lose to Michigan. No. I don't know if you remember, Professor, but I'm a big Ohio State fan. They're my second best team. Well, I know you're an LSU fan, so okay. Well, what does that have to do with the price of tea, Bobby? Remember Braxton Miller? That kid had moves. He could run as good as Lamar. Yeah, but he couldn't play quarterback. That's my point. They couldn't read blitzes. And that's the problem with these Ohio State and Alabama quarterbacks. None of them are any good in the pros, because in the pros, you got to be in the pocket. Look at who's good. All of a sudden, Penix, pocket quarterback. Daniels, pocket quarterback. Bo Nix, and they're playing very well. And then you get the Drake Mays and the C.J. Strouds and Lamar, who want to run around, and, they don't win. I love how everybody's, Lamar's the greatest thing. Da, 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 da. Yeah, how many playoff games has he won? Oh, yeah, one? Oh, okay. As soon as he plays a good team, he folds up. He'll fold up again. They got him, Derrick Henry, to try to help him. They'll never beat Kansas City, and I don't think they can win at Buffalo. So enjoy Baltimore beating Pittsburgh and losing at Buffalo. They won't beat Buffalo at Buffalo. No. They don't travel good because the defense sucks and Lamar can't throw the ball, accurately. So, Lamar, he had something where he threw the ball. He threw for like 3,000 yards and ran for 800. And they made a big deal. Oh, no other quarterback's done it. Yeah, because all the quarterbacks, none of them, Joe Montana didn't run. Marino didn't run. All the good quarterbacks wouldn't run like that. The Michael Vicks would run, but they couldn't throw the ball. So don't sit there and say how good Lamar is because he can run for 800 yards. What a joke that is. Yeah, Lamar will not go all the way. He will get folded up like an accordion. He can't beat Mahomes. He couldn't beat Burrow. If Burrow was in, I'm kind of wish Burrow was in instead of Houston. Houston will lose the first game to San Diego. And that's it. I mean, it's defense. So San Diego could go far. Baltimore's lucky they're not playing San Diego in the first round. That's all I can say. They couldn't handle Herbert, and they certainly couldn't handle Khalil Mack and Bosa and James, the safety. So Baltimore's lucky they're playing Pittsburgh, who just isn't showing up anymore. I blame Tomlin. I blame the offensive coordinator. He wants to keep running the ball. It's 1972. He's going to run the ball on first and second down, and then poor Russell Wilson, third and 10. He's got to try to get lucky. Mahomes is going to send all those teams back in there. Well, of course. Yeah, Houston's terrible. That's what I tried to tell Alex. He got all upset because he's in Houston. He's a Houston fan. They suck. C.J. Stroud's not a good quarterback. He does the same thing. He rolls to the right, collapses the field, and prays for a playground play where somebody gets open 20 yards down the field. But then as teams see this, they leave a cornerback out there. And when the guy comes open, here's the cornerback for the pickoff. And Stroud doesn't want to stay in the pocket, and you lose half the field. And these guys in the secondary know it. They're not stupid. Um, yeah, they still think they have the fucking steel curtain back there. Well, J.J. Watt hasn't looked good. Their defense hasn't really looked good, but a lot of it is the offense is terrible. They're not driving, and it's the offensive coordinator. The Atlanta coach is horrible. I'm watching them last week against Baltimore. When this offensive coordinator's, he wants to run the ball, and it's 2nd and 10. He runs up the middle. It's there, at least do some running. 3rd and 10, and then Russell Wilson has to throw on 3rd and 10 under pressure. Like, really, you don't do a play action pass on first down, or you're not passing it. And then the receivers, Pickens dropped 5 balls last week. What the fuck was that? Why is he out there? He's dropping balls. Goodbye. I need somebody to be like you, making 3 years in the outfield, Bobby. You're not going to be on the field. So I don't get this George Pickens guy. Why he's even out there? I would cut him, and I would just get some LSU receivers next year in the draft. You'd be fine. I remember Les Miles. Yeah, he was. Well, he won the. Didn't he win the chain? No, he was good at LSU. Who, although I did like as the LSU coach, would annoy me when he would call those predictable telegraph downhill run plays when he had Beckham and Landry and all. Those good wide receivers. What college did George Pickens come from? I have no idea. But it doesn't matter. He can't play. He's a quitter. He's not passionate for the game. He's a quitter. I wouldn't even play him this week. The problem is, why don't they have receivers, Pittsburgh? See, Pittsburgh tends to pay their money on the defensive side. Russell Wilson is cheap. They're not paying him. You're probably paying Fields more. Why you picked up Fields, I don't know. He sucks. He sucks at Chicago, and what makes you think he's any good? And I love when Pittsburgh people were saying, "Oh, they should leave Fields in." Yeah, why? Because he's so good. People, I don't understand. They don't know anything. It's people are getting dumber and dumber, Bobby. I just, yeah, stay with Fields. Oh my God. Yeah, Drake May. He's now the franchise quarterback. Drake May? Are you kidding me? What are you guys smoking? Because Drake May is not a good quarterback. Just like C.J. Stroud's not a good quarterback. Penix is a good quarterback, and Bo Nix and Daniels. Those are your good quarterbacks. What is it that you see in them that you think you see in Drake May or Daniel Jones or any of these, or Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence and Jalen Daniels, you think they're the same? Daniels is here and Lawrence is down there. What is it so hard to see that you fucked up in your draft, that this guy sucks? Why is that so hard to see? And why, like the Giants, I read, kept their GM and coach. Oh, yeah, are you kidding me? What is it about the GM, this wonderful draft of Daniel Jones, or the fact he's got Danny DeVito at quarterback? What is it about the GM that you actually think is any good, and the coach sucks? What is it you think that there's any good there? Yeah, Les Miles would call run play after run play. Yeah, I heard that the first-year coach, Stuart Mayers, got fired yesterday for winning when he was not supposed to because they were trying to get the first draft pick next year. Yeah, well, he fucked the team. If he did that, if they were supposed to lose to get the first, I thought the Giants have the first pick, or Oakland. Did Oakland fuck up and win? Let's see. No, Oakland lost to San Diego, but San Diego needed the win when Pittsburgh lost. Now San Diego gets Houston and Pitt gets Baltimore. So it was a smart thing for San Diego to win. Let's see. Denver beat KC 38-0. I think I called that score. Last week I said I think they'll win. Once I knew that Mahomes was out, I said I think they'll win 35-0, 38-0. Yeah, New England. What are you beating Buffalo for? So Drake May's not the answer. Houston beats Tennessee, so Tennessee did a good job by losing. Indy beats Jacksonville. Jacksonville will get a high pick. Indy, they're fucked because Richardson's got a bad back. I don't think he'll play again. Washington beats Dallas. I had the game over 43, so over 37. I was happy about that. Tampa I had laying 7. They won by 8. And then what the fuck? How did Atlanta lose to Steve Young in the Carolina? I should have played that over. I mean, I thought Penix would win it. Green Bay. How did Green Bay lose to Chicago? Jesus. Philly and the Giants. The Giants did their part in losing. And Cincinnati. Yeah. What's Cincinnati 1917 to Pittsburgh? What is that? So anyway, pretty pathetic. You still have about what? Cleveland a Z team, the Giants a Z team, Carolina a Z team, Jacksonville a Z team, Tennessee a Z team, New England a Z team, and Oakland a Z team. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Z teams. 7 coaches got fired because they got Z teams. Carolina, we got to play Steve Young. Well, what? Why? He's terrible. You'd have been better off with Andy Dalton. Although I noticed that they've been scoring more, Carolina. Their defense still sucks, but they've been scoring more. Bobby Bowe. Patriots went from first pick to 4th pick yesterday. Yeah, I'd fire the coach too, especially if you told the coach to lose. If I told the coach to lose because I want the first pick and he wins, yeah, he's fired. Exactly. Because he's not listening. You've got to listen to the owner. He's the owner. I was telling a friend that Bengals would have been in the playoffs if they did not lose week 1 at home to the garbage Patriots. That's what they get for not showing up every week counts. That's what they got for not playing in the preseason, right? You didn't play in the preseason. You weren't ready. That's why you need to play in the preseason. You throw away the first 2 or 3 games. And look at Cincinnati. They were a lot better than Houston and in Pittsburgh. And they throw the games away. They should have beat Baltimore. Here's where I fire the coach because he goes for 2 against Baltimore instead of kicking the extra point. I got Joe Burrow. Chances are in overtime, I'm going to win with Joe Burrow. At worst case, I tie. I'd be in the playoffs if I would have kicked the extra point against Baltimore. These coaches need to be fired because they don't know how to coach. They don't know what they're doing. They're in over their heads. Falcons blew it, and Bucks damn near blew it too. Jalen Daniels is the best story this year, and I hope he upsets Tampa this week. Oh, he will. I like Baker, and yeah, I live in Tampa, but I'm a roll with my LSU guy. Well, of course, the LSU guy. He's lucky he ain't facing Cincinnati because Joe Burrow would light him up. I still think the best offensive player is my Brock Bowers from Georgia. He set a record like 110 or 120 catches or something. Brock Bowers, like I said, San Diego is never going to live that down. They drafted a guard from Notre Dame, and then Oakland takes Brock Bowers. I mean, it's just these quarterbacks in the league that are so bad. I mean, Zappy's better than Thompson Robinson. Lamar stinks. Burrow and Wilson. Drew Lock. What's he doing in the league? Pickett. What's he doing in the league? Hurts is not very good. Caleb. What's he doing in the league? Love's okay. Young's terrible. Penix, yeah. What is Rattler doing in the league? I don't get it. Baker, I get. Daniels and Cooper Rush didn't even play yesterday. They had fucking whatchamacallit in there. What the fuck was that all about? Lang or whatever his name is. Matt Jones, what's he doing in the league? Flacco's 50 years old. C.J. Stroud, I don't know if he played. Levis, who thought he was good? Um, Josh Allen, I don't know who backed up, and then Drake May's not a good quarterback. Mahomes, what's Wentz doing? So Wentz is your backup, loses 38-0. Yeah, I want Wentz. Yeah, Wentz is good. Oh my God, Bo Nick's good. Joshua Dobbs, Jesus Christ, he's terrible. And Kyler Murray, their offensive coordinator sucks. And then you've got Huntley, who he's better than Tag. And then Aaron Rodgers, of course. And then Geno Smith is way overrated. He had 17 touchdowns and 15 picks. He's an NFL quarterback. Stafford didn't play. Garoppolo, I don't know. He's not a good player. Herbert and O'Connell is the best you can do at Oakland. 6 touchdowns and 3 picks, O'Connell. This is your starting quarterback. And the GM's not fired yet. And then you got Darnell against Golf. And Darnell starts looking like old Darnell because he's never seen a blitz before. All right. With that, it's time to go to bed because I am exhausted. I don't know who's worse, Drew Lock or Drake May. It's so bad, it's funny. Well, Ed O'Connell and Mac Jones and, you can go on and on. Pickett, really? Levis, too. I don't get how these guys are on national television playing quarterback for a professional football team. It's pathetic stuff. You know why? Because they are under the consumption that the NFL's changed and you need an athletic quarterback. And you don't need an athletic quarterback. You need running backs who can run the ball, and you need receivers who can catch the ball, and therefore you need good offensive coordinators. So because you have bad offensive coordinators and they're not drafting running backs, you don't have the balance anymore, and you don't have I'll run the ball a little bit with my running back because that's the only way you can win is Mahomes giving the ball to Pacheco and hitting Kelsey, not Mahomes trying to run. Now, he's athletic, but he doesn't run. He runs in the Super Bowl, 3rd and 8, and he can get 10, he'll run, but not normally. He's not a runner. He's in the pocket looking to throw the ball down the field as Aaron Rodgers, as all these guys are. He's running. Lamar will never win because he cannot throw the ball accurately. You telegraph. He just looks at the guy. Do you think he looks off the safety, Lamar, ever? Do you think he can? You think he's smart enough to do that? Then he shot puts the ball, and it's just these guys are wide open because the defenses are just zones. Because you got to play zone against Lamar. Because if you play man on man, they'll just run to the end zone, and then Lamar, nobody will be there for him. So he kind of has that, but he's not very good. Well, thank you, Bobby Bo. Yeah, I tried to get the economics in. The football was crazy. I had the Minnesota over with Detroit was my lock. I locked San Diego late because when Pittsburgh lost, San Diego wins, they play Houston. So as soon as I realized that, I locked San Diego a couple times. And I hit Tampa Bay, the Washington over. I hit Denver under. I had a pretty good day, except for the Lion game. The college bowls have been getting me really frustrated because Ohio State loses to Michigan. There's no way they're going to beat Oregon. They're a favorite over Oregon, and they beat them. And Oregon, as a dog, doesn't win. It doesn't cover. And you're like, something smells here. This whole bowl thing's fixed, and it's really frustrating to me. But anyway, I gotta go. I need my down. I need to restore my battery. Being a stoic, you need to restore. So I need to restore, but I got to go to sleep. But I'm too wound up to go to sleep. Anyway, I'll talk to you tomorrow. It's freezing cold here, and I don't like that either. Anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. If you want to email me or anything, be my guest. And hope you enjoyed class today. Again, do not get fooled or do not misunderstand. This is worthless. This is why this is all it's worth is 1 cent. And you must understand that. So please understand, it's not an opinion. It's not maybe, it's a fact, Jack. That's what's happening. So you either stay in the dollar and watch it go down, stay in the stocks and watch the dollar go down, stay in Bitcoin, which is in dollars going down, or get into gold and silver, which is going up. Do you want to be in something going down or going up? I'll leave it at that. All right, everybody. Have a nice day. Good luck. Buy your gold and silver before you can't buy it, before the dollar won't buy it, and before there isn't any to buy. All right. Take care, everybody.